days in a row. This is always the fun thing. It's good to have you guys here. We had a really fun stream on, yesterday morning showing off some great Prime deals, which are still happening, by the way. So if you wanted to see some of those amazing deals, especially that $599 Acer Nitro Core Ultra system that was basically able to play like, which was able to play Assassin's Creed Mirage at 30 frames per second for $500. It also had an OLED screen and great speakers and stuff like that. It was really, really cool. So anyway, it's super good to see everybody. Welcome to, this is not sponsored, this is just us building, and today we're gonna build a really, really cool system inside of the LanCool 216. This is a commission build, and the focus of this build is to be as darked out as possible. He still did actually want to make sure that he could have a screen and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be, it is going to have just an LCD screen, but everything else, the GPU and everything else, no fans, everything else will be completely blacked out, which is going to be pretty cool. So, and I know a lot of you guys, like it's really funny, like, a lot of people like to see the non-RGB builds. It's something that we haven't done very frequently, but we've actually got a chance to do a number of them. And I'll be telling that last one that we did, where we had just the white lights to highlight the parts inside of it, was also really, really cool. Now I am gonna say something just to kick things off, just to get things started, because it is a 14900K build. I am very, very, very well aware of all of the stuff that is currently happening with Intel. I had some actually interesting conversations with a number of people just about, and I know people are probably asking, Robey, what is your stance on this whole thing? My stance is, basically, the thing is that here's my 2 cents. One, Steve thought that he had actually found the issue specifically having to do with the RTX 4090, and the RTX 4090 he didn't actually find the issue. That is still a problem that's still out there. Until I have an official response from Intel, the way that it's going to work is that if we have an issue with a commission build, specifically where we're using a 14900K and we need to replace that, or whatever it was, we will work with that customer to replace the thing. But in this case, the customer specifically wanted a 14900K. We do make them aware of the issues. I have multiple 14900K systems that do not have problems, and again, I do understand that the use case for the data center PCs and stuff like that are something in which the use for those is pretty dramatic, right? So will this be something that affects everybody? I'm not sure, but I cannot wait to see Intel actually respond. I feel like what needs to happen is there does need to be an official response. But until then, I'm just in kind of that position where we're definitely gonna watch. We're definitely gonna make sure if there's a problem that we fix it, right? If we end up with a commission build or something like that, or a giveaway PC that has a problem. But outside of that, you know, if somebody asks for something, we're gonna put it in there. We're gonna make them aware of what the potential issues are, and then we'll move forward from there. If they decide to switch to AMD, I have no issue with that. I have no issue because, again, I really like AMD systems just as much as I like Intel systems. And pretty soon here, we're going to be building almost majority AMD systems because they're going to be the ones with all the new chips. But I did want to come out and say specifically, because we're going to be like, it's a 14900K. Guys, before you get on your high horse, Steve doesn't know. There's a lot of things that are starting to be figured out. I've even had conversations with Steve about some of this stuff. There's a lot that needs to get figured out. I am aware of the problem. We are watching it closely, and once we have something, whether that's Steve coming out or Intel's official response or whatever it was, we will continue to be probably a lot lighter on 14900K systems. But the other two is like the 14.7, the 14.6, and all those other ones we'll probably keep moving for. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I just want to get that out of the way. I also figured, for today, let's talk about the giveaways, because, I mean, the giveaways are still there in the normal thing. 250 likes over at youtube.com/Robeytech Live. We'll give away a $25 Newegg gift card. If we get 50 subs, $50 Newegg gift card. If we get a level 5 hype train, we give away a $25 Newegg gift card on the spot. I know it's been a while. We have like no subs this, well, actually that's not, I guess we've had no gifted subs this time. But yeah, we got that going on. We still have the CPU thing that's going until the end of the month. So that's still happening as well for your choice for the CPU that we're doing. I'm gonna turn on the fan real quick and then we'll get up from there. And then don't forget to hit those likes, guys. And then we'll start doing parts and all that sort of stuff. But it should be a good stream. You don't see the YouTube live video? Looks like 41 people. Or it sounds like 41, we're up to 41. But yeah, it's good to see you. And good to see everybody here. Let's talk about parts. I'm gonna do this a little bit old school, guys. So for the CPU, for this, we're using the Intel Core i9 14900K. So again, I've already done my introduction for this stuff. I've told you what where we're kind of at for it. Yes, We're aware that there are, in certain cases, a 50% fail rate in data center CPUs. We understand that in the real world, that number is very, very small and much smaller than most people, much smaller than what we're seeing in data center and all that sort of stuff. Still a lot of information we don't know, but right now this is what the individual wanted. We're okay with putting it in there. If there's a support issue or whatever it was, we will switch that out as needed. So there's the CPU. For the RAM, continuing with our black theme, we have G.Skill Triton Z. This is 64 gigs of DDR5. It is CL30, so it's fast and tight timings, and it has 0 RGBs. There's our RAM right there. For the motherboard, we're using the ROG Strix Z790F. Main reason I love these boards is, like, yes, I understand that we've had the resolution. They're working on. They're now working, and they've made clear indications in terms of what they're going to do in terms of improving their customer service and their RMA stuff. But the one thing I love about these boards, specifically on the Intel side, is just with Intel stock settings, turning everything off, all that sort of stuff. And on top of that, they're just very sexy looking boards. Plus, you've got the Q latch situation that you can do, and then a lot of times, like when you're like, the update ability using their ROG software and all that sort of stuff is pretty straightforward. So again, it's a board that people just really appreciate. I don't know where you feel on the Asus thing, but again, it does have great customer marks, and a lot of customers are very faithful to them. And so if this is what he asked for, we were fine with basically putting this inside. Usually when my personal builds, I have a tendency to use MSI now, especially because they were the first ones to take the new Intel fixes, and they actually show very clearly between the Intel stock settings and stuff like that, which is actually pretty cool that MSI has been working on that stuff. For storage, a brand we don't see very often, but something that I know a lot of people actually like. We're using the Samsung 990 Pros. We have a 1 terabyte and a 4 terabyte NVMe drive here. So it's a total of 5 terabytes. He's got a 1 terabyte for his OS and 4 terabytes for gaming, which would be awesome. For his cooling, we're using the Corsair iCue Link H150i. Main reason for that is a couple things. One, we're going to use iCue Link for the rest of the stuff that we're basically installing inside of this build. It makes it a lot easier for cable management. And the other thing too I really like about this is that should there be an issue with a fan or whatever it was, we can very easily switch that out or switch out it's very easy to do maintenance using iCue Link. So it makes it a little bit easier for the customer to be able to do stuff should there be an issue with the AIO. We are, however, replacing the fans. So we're not going to be using the QX120s. We're actually going to be using the new Stealth RX120 iCue Link fans. So these are still iCue Link. They do have good performance. They are not RGB. I cannot wait. One of the things I'd really like to see is the RX120 Max in an iCue Link configuration, because it'd be actually really cool to see what the combination would be between the two. So we are switching out the fans to that. For our GPU, keeping with the non-RGB theme here, we're using the PNY RTX 4090. This is basically their V-True one, right? Isn't that what it doesn't actually say on here. But anyway, it's got Velocity X, but there's no RGB whatever, or however on side of it. It's still their overclockable one and all that sort of jazz. If you want to see a whole video, we did a whole video on PNY. Actually, they have a very famous overclocker. If you didn't know, who's just joined them, so it feels like a nice clean palette. People are excited to see what comes out of PNY. Now that they're it feels like they're taking some steps from EVGA, which would be great. They also make a lot of data center GPUs and all that sort of stuff. So definitely something that we have used a number of their things and we're excited to actually get to use a different one inside of this build. And then finally, for power, we're going to be using the Dark Rock Dark Power 13. This is the really like Be Quiet's power supplies. This is their new ATX 3.0 version. So it has that straight home run that we want to basically run for our case. So we're going to be using that. It's 1,000 watts, more than enough for basically the GPU, the CPU, and all that sort of jazz. You can actually get away with a 4090 and 850 watt PSU, but this gives it a little bit more headroom if he wants to do like any overclocking or anything like that on the GPU. Stay away from it on the CPU, but on the GPU we should be good to go. And then lastly, of course, we got our cable extensions just to make sure that the build still looks polished. So we have some Asia Horse black cables, and then we have a Cable Mod home run cable that'll basically run directly from the PSU directly to the GPU, so it just has that extra little bit of polish. But in the end, the only thing we'll have is a little bit of a white glow from that outside screen that'll basically highlight the parts inside of it, which would be nice to have a little bit of glow there, just to really kind of have some light that highlights how the build looks all up. But outside of that, everything else will be absolutely stealth. So that's where it is right now. By the way, I want to give a huge shout out to obviously Gamu65. I want to give a huge shout out to Blondie But Geeky for her resub. We got Gamu65, thank you for your resub. And then we've got Tedgar, 5 months. 76D76, 14 months. We got Blondie But Geeky at 44 months. Gamu65 at 31 months. We got some long time subs here. Hold on, I'm trying to find my mouse. We got DMAT dropping 24 months. We got Devil Squirrel 369 dropping 9 months. House of Tom 46 months. Ubu with 11 months. So like lots of big support. Super appreciate it. And then of course Zemu 321 dropping 4 months at tier 1. Appreciating you for 7 months. So no RGB in the way. The other two. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on with the hype train, but yeah, we didn't necessarily hit a hype train yet. The last thing is, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I don't know how long this build's gonna take. You know, it's funny, the moment you kind of take RGB out of the equation, it always seems to go a little bit faster. And then we do have a little bit of glow from obviously the screen, guys. And then we're using the LanCool 216. This is the non-RGB version. So it has those beautiful 160 millimeter fans at the front. So lots of airflow to give all those components, which will feed the AIO and everything else just the way that we want them to. So should be a really fun build. Of course, we've got games already installed. And of course, we've got the benchmarking stuff already installed. So when we're done, we'll throw it on the bench, make sure it works well, because people think that I don't test my builds. Make sure that it works well, and then we'll see how it goes. It's gonna look super classy, according to Robeytech. So, and I agree, Robeytech. So there's our parts. Let's go ahead and take all this stuff out. I'm gonna go ahead and open up this PSU, just because I'm gonna get the PNY and everything else out of the way. I'm gonna open up the PSU just so we have it open already. By the way, guys, we were gonna do a giveaway build tomorrow, but that got moved to next week. So tomorrow we're gonna be doing the Asus A21 build. That'll actually be the build that we're gonna be giving away as part of the Asus Computex rehash stream that we're gonna be doing next week. So if you wanna tune in and see what build we're giving away, you're definitely gonna watch in tomorrow for that stream. We also have Intel Live happening on Friday. We're gonna be talking about the MSI Claw, and then Justin, me, is going to be playing a very scary game, which is always interesting. By the way, we are about to hit a hype train. We're at 4 seconds if somebody wants to hit it for that. And all you got to do is drop 100 things. Never mind. And then Saturday, the stream is a maybe. Believe it or not, your boy is going to go play in a golf tournament. Pretty excited about that. Now, I wish I had Thomas here to make that better, but he's not here and he doesn't love me. We're going to be playing in a golf tournament. That's going to be happening, and then I may have some practice. So if we do have a stream, it might be a little bit we'll have to see what the stream situation is going to be like on Saturday. And then we have 2 streams next week, and then I got to head over to Baltimore to do some stuff for NZXT. So, and then if you guys want to get an update in terms of stream schedules and stuff like that, I put a heartfelt, lovingly written, well-crafted, full of euphemisms and poetry and passion up on the Discord server. So if you're just curious about that, go check it out. Hey, Robey, you remember I asked you about the fan tray? I finally have the fan tray from Corsair for the Obsidian. I have to take contact with support line directly at Corsair, and they send me the fan tray for free. Shout out to Corsair. That's awesome, Christopher. Yeah. Hit a home run. Thanks. He tests the builds. I can confirm. Mikey, are you loving your system, dude? I mean, you probably have one of the best looking systems we've built, man. Robey, did you get the dono I sent? I see Humble Guy Gaming. I saw the Humble Guy Gaming thing. How much did you send? I probably did. I will tell you that the update thing, because it's like so old, if I didn't, huge shout out. Thank you very much for the dono. How much did you send, Humble? I appreciate it, and I'm sure we did. Hey, Blazin1216, thank you very much for the tier 1 sub. You are very welcome. Oh, it's on PayPal. Humble Game, I'll definitely check it out. I'm sure I got it. I'm sure I got it. And I will give you a huge thank you. Well, thank you for the $50, dude. That's huge. Appreciate you, my friend. That all helps, and that all goes to the giveaways and everything else we try to do here. Okay, any questions before we get started on this crazy build? You guys enjoying the show? Bala system. I got no way to make that. It's all Streamlabs. I mean, you can yell at me all you want, Blondie, but there's nothing I can do. What's up, Wiz? How are you, man? Do you see the way that she just yells at me? I didn't do anything, but she just sits there and yells at me, guys. I am an innocent bystander in this streaming thing. So just saying. Thank you very much for the likes, guys. Everybody's like, you're full of crap, Robey. She yells with love. I like that. Okay, guys, well, let's grab our parts here. We're gonna start with our motherboard, start building, getting all this stuff done. Loudly, too. Blondie, if you want to choose some sort of click, this is non-RGB RAM. So this is new territory for us in terms of how loud this is gonna be. I guess we'll find out, huh? Get Blondie an iced coffee. That is true. She could ban me from my own channel. It's actually 64 gigs. I don't know why it says 32. Does it really say 32? It should be 64. Yeah, this is 64 gigs. 32 gigabytes times 2. Man, we're terrible. I don't know. 64 gigs is crazy. But yeah, 64 gigs, guys. And I can confirm on the box, it says 64 gigs, CL30. So, shocking. Is Kurosaki saying, shocking, you guys got the parts list wrong. What's up? How are you, man? Is it Deliciosi? Deliciosi? By the way, guys, I have been studying Spanish. Oh, she's going high for 99. Man, she has a lot of faith in how this is going to do. I've been studying Spanish, guys. I'm learning Spanish. Oh, it's the same as Delicious. Well, it's nice to meet you, Delicious. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. Welcome. I've been working on my Spanish. ¿Cómo está? Polo, the crazy chicken. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You're really helping me there, Roblon. Aprendo español. Aprendo español. Yo hablo español un poco. Un poco. But anyway, I'm learning it. I'm on a 15-day streak. Well, actually, sorry, I'm on like a 21-day streak. I've been learning it for the last 3 weeks, spending about anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour a day, every day, working on it. I have some trips to Mexico, including, if you guys knew, that I went and built houses in Mexico as part of a mission trip, which was super awesome. And so it's just like have a passion for it, which has been pretty cool. Delicious. It'll be, we'll give you a keyword, a code word, and then that's how it all kind of goes. And look at this Zig PC taking the top of the leaderboard right there with his one gifted sub. Urkzilla, that's a great question. Honestly, the more interesting thing is actually the Ryzen 9700X, man. We're talking about 5% uplift over the 7800X 3D at 65 watts. So, I mean, I'm just saying, dude, I don't even know, right? And the other thing too is the cost on that thing is gonna be magical. I'm telling you, we're probably gonna build a crap ton. Jimmy's like, nope, I'm gonna take number one, taking that 10. Thank you very much, Jimmy, for the 10 subs. I'm thinking that there are going to be a lot of 9700X builds built here on Robeytech. Almost as many as we've had 7800X 3D. And thank you very much, Humble Guy Gaming, for gifting 2 tier 1 subs as well. He wants to be number 2. And now we could actually almost hit a hype train, guys. Okay, so let's do these peels. You guys ready for some peels? Peel number 1. But yeah, I'm actually really excited about it. So you guys don't, I think I told you, I actually got to go to AMD Tech Day. And that's where I was in LA. And Jimmy with a 21-month tier 3 sub. Oh, it has to be somebody else, Jimmy. That's, I don't know, Twitch and their stupid rules. We got to go, and so I got to hang out What I'm actually really excited about is their Strix mobile platform. We have a number of those laptops coming in from the folks at ASUS and a bunch of other stuff, right? So and we're doing some cool activations with AMD as well. So yeah, there's a lot of AMD in the future. Had a really good chat with them literally just the other day, just me and Ray shooting the crap. And then of course we'll have our coverage and of course do builds right away. Igor dropping 2 gifted subs as well. Guys, we could hit a hype train if we wanted to. Just saying. You do not have to feel compelled though. Yeah, 5090s. Well, average Gerg rumor is that the 5090 is going to be like over $2,000. That's a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. I think really where NVIDIA is going to be focused is on like their 5080. So, and I'm guessing that'll be around the same price as the 4080. But I don't know. I think the 5090. I mean, especially if the 4080 really does film, the 5080 films the realm like it's supposed to. I don't think the 5090 is going to be a consumer grade card. Just like the Titan wasn't really a consumer grade card. I wouldn't be surprised at the price the 5090s for 4090. That would be a lot of money. Okay, guys, so we got that in there. Let's go ahead and get our CPU put in now. Let's zoom in way in. Way in. So much zooming. There it is. I am too, Wiz. I'm actually very excited about it. It'll be fun to have new hardware. So, which is what I'm actually really excited about. And we're definitely gonna show off some of those new mobiles at the same time. Because I think doing some laptop streams just to show some of those really awesome mobile performance. I'm really excited about what those things are going to be able to do just independently. Well, Igor, I'm glad that you're here too. Yeah, Kuba Steve. Yeah, the Kuba Steve. That was an amazing experience to be able to transform people's lives in a 24-hour period. With something like that was super cool, and they were such a sweet family. I'm very happy to have gotten to do something like that, and I was really glad that my kids were there. So I appreciate it, man. When is 5,000 Red? I don't know. I mean, rumor is and expectation is sometime around CES. We might see it at the end of the year. We will of course live stream that, and then of course you know the kind of relationship we have with NVIDIA, so we'll definitely cover all that stuff. Okay, guys, bits count if we want to get a hype train. You guys just really, and it's okay. I'm okay with people. I have not been on Twitch this much since Justin TV, which they named after me, just so you know. I'm just kidding. That's actually not true. I just wanted to feel like it was. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this pops just because. Nope, it doesn't. I feel like they've changed this. I liked it better when it popped. Average Greg, I think we need to see number 1. I mean, I don't have an issue with it, right? Like I don't have an issue with Cam, their Cam 2 motherboard, or like that specific configuration for RAM. It'll be really interesting to see. It'll be really interesting to see when that comes a little bit more mainstream, just in general. I haven't outside of touching one at Computex. I haven't seen one yet, right? So. What's up, JR Racing fan? Good to see you. But are you excited? It sounds like you're excited about it, huh, Average Greg? Okay, here we go, guys. I am peeling the bottom. I know there's rumors about me and peeling plastic. There we go. Oh, it's stuck to me. I'm gonna die. Ugh. Let's get this one up. Welcome back, Tedgar. Good to see you. Okay, you guys, throwing in a couple drives in here. We got our 1 terabyte and our 4 terabyte. Thank you, Delicious. I'm gonna try not to. I am officially not going to QuakeCon. I know that has been something you guys have been waiting for the answers for. It was officially told to me that actually a lot of the plans for QuakeCon have gotten a whole lot smaller from a lot of brands. So it's going to be interesting because it feels like next year will probably be the year very similar to what we did like last year. We're going to see a lot more kind of event-focused stuff, but like there's not a lot of people going to PAX East. The plans for QuakeCon, I mean, not to say that QuakeCon won't be awesome, but the amount of people going, I mean, like the amount of brands and doing cool stuff there is going down. So yeah, it depends on the giveaway depends on which giveaway it is. Somebody said, what about GCX? I don't even know what that is. I have also been told I am no longer going to Gamescom, so I'm not even doing Gamescom anymore, and that was like pretty concrete, and then that changed too. So a lot of stuff is kind of up in the air. I'm building a 7900 XTX 7800 X2D. I'm in the Antec C5. Any advice? I don't know. That's a pretty straightforward build. I like the case. The Antec C5 is a pretty straightforward case. I think the other two is just make sure you got adequate cooling, and then just know that the cable management on that case can be a little bit daunting, but outside of that, not really. Oh yeah, sometimes. I don't know. I don't think we have any. Well, if we get a level 10 hype train, Delicious, then you would be able to get in on that. But I mean, given what we're doing for hype, I don't know if we're gonna do that. So. But dude, have fun, Damo. How about that? My advice is have a good time. My video's there for you if you need any help. We've built in it. We got all sorts of fun for it. So if you want to go check that out, you can. And the good thing is you get to watch it end to end. Okay, Teak is getting close, man. That's awesome. All you got left is cooler and CPU. I mean, fans and cooler, which those aren't near as expensive as some of the other parts you're talking about. 99 is the magic number, guys. That's what she put in there. I'm gonna take out, I like to give all the manuals, so I'm taking this out. Off stream, the fastest we ever did it with cable management, I think was 15 minutes, humble guy. And that was while doing the hot chip challenge, and I actually ended up beating Eric from iBuyPower. Or Cyberpower. I think it was Cyberpower, actually. And that's up on the stream. So Kuba Steve, it's not that, it has nothing to do with the number being one or the other. It has to do with the compatibility. A lot of it is it's harder to get them running at speed as 4 sticks versus 2 sticks. So that's the only thing you really got to be aware of. So it's not that, I mean, dude, I liked it better when it was all 4 sticks because it just looked cleaner. But yeah, that's the only reason. I don't know if that's lined up or not. Cannot tell. Man, love-hate relationship with these. Just trying to get this in. Nope, that's not it. Guys, it takes over 3 hours just to get this. Okay, that looks like it's right. I think it's in. Guess we'll find out when I screw this down. No. Wow, this is not going in. It's like, come on, man. Don't be a pain in my booty. Okay, I got that one in finally. Wow, that was like a whole ordeal just trying to get that in, guys. Okay, it's in. Whew, that was hard. Well, the Lian 2 Galahad 2 performed just as well as the LCD one. I don't really need that, right? In terms of performance, they should be the same. I think the fans are actually the same on that. So I don't think you're gonna see a big difference, yeah. Have you ever considered a build with a separate PSU for the GPU? No. Because again, you don't really need that even, I mean, like, unless I was gonna do some like ridiculous overclocking, that would be about the only reason that I might need something like that. It's better to just go like 12 or 1300 watts versus like trying to find and fit 2 PSUs in there. So I don't know what the gain would be. I actually like how like some of them now have like clips, like MSI put clips. Wow, this RAM doesn't want to come out. MSI put clips for their, so it makes it a lot easier to line it up and just get it to click in versus using the screws. So yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, and we'll definitely try that one out. I mean, the 240, I mean, like it was competing against 360s somewhat, if you guys watch our review on it. You just have to be really cognizant of what you could put it in. It's a really big looking shoe PC. That's what I think. I mean, it's cool looking. It's very unique. I don't have any issues with it. It's just, it looks like a big red shoe. Which I mean, like, I mean, if you're into it, then you're into it, right? Okay, guys, 99. That is what Blondie threw out here. Well, Luke's our deceiving. We're here for it, man. Whatever, we'll try to drop the knowledge as much as we can. Okay, here we go. 99. Is Blondie right? Well, that was 95. So I'm feeling like a no. And I'm not trying to be mean. Oh no, that was super mushy. Guys, we weren't even close. We were not even close. I didn't even just stretch. It was just apparently not gonna be loud. Ow. I don't even know how to hit there. Ow, that hurt. Yeah, 850 should be fine. 850 watts is good enough for a 4090 7800 X3D, so yeah. Asus has been mushy. We'll have to have a conversation with JJ. Will be on stream next week, by the way, guys. So you guys can say, why have you been mushy? You can bring that up, okay? I better see that question come up. I better hear you guys come into my defense saying, why is it so smushy? Why is it so smushy? I better hear you guys from the rafters. Why is it so smushy? Okay, we're getting out our hardware. That's what we're grabbing right now, just the stuff we need to get this all hooked up. Smushy is unacceptable, that is true. Why are you guys so smushy? That's right, Steel Eye. Practice, guys. Get your practice in. Oh, there's one more. There was one more peel, guys. Almost forgot to peel. Oh, but I got it now. Oh, and this has got the new Wi-Fi connection, which is cool. Well, we have some really great monitors. We got some reviews coming out for some Asus monitors within the next week and a half. So. Okay, let's go to top down. Put in our bracket here. It almost sounds like racketeer, but I meant bracketeer. So who was the big winner on the click? Who did anybody win big? I'm a super beginner at motherboards, but can it be direct wired instead of? Yes, this does have a This has a LAN port, yeah, and most of them do. I would say I've never seen one that only has Wi-Fi. So this does have a 2.5 gig Ethernet connection, and then you also have your Wi-Fi 7. And the Wi-Fi 7, by the way, guys, this stuff is magical. Wi-Fi 7 is magical. Now the routers are crazy expensive, but yeah. 49K to Stealth 9678. Wow, that's pretty good still. What are you gonna do with all that loot? It's magical. That's right, Dorian. Way to support me there. Just gotta make sure this lines up here. Ooh, crap. Whoa. There we go. Okay, that's lined up. Just want to make sure it's on the top, the tip. No one's lined up here. What's it, deuce? That was weird. Okay, it's in now. Okay, cool. Oh, that's in the bottom one. Crud. Okay, that's on the right one there. Oh, no, I don't want that there. I want to make sure these are in the right ones, guys. There we go, that's in. This one's being problematic. There we go. Okay, got it. All right, all of them are in now. Whoa. Crud, that one moved. No, they both moved. How did that even happen? Okay. I have a 5-year-old Ryzen 3830. I don't game, just stream and light video editing. I want to build a new one. Should I go Intel or AMD at this time? I would go AMD at this time. Main reason being is that your AMD, you'll be able to update a whole lot longer. Intel, we're waiting for Arrow Lake at this point. So if you move to Raptor Lake or the Raptor Lake or like the current Intel systems, you're kind of buying something that's a dying platform. So that's why I would say AMD at this point in time, because they just announced they're going to be doing till 2027 and beyond, right? So for gaming, static, no. But video editing, that sort of stuff, no. Robe, is AMD Ryzen processor with an Asus RGB a good? Yes, that is a good combination. Though for AMD, we have a tendency to stay away from Asus. So I would say, honestly, if you could do an MSI board or an ASRock board instead. If you're doing video editing, you should not do an X3D chip. So a 7600X or a 7700X. Oh, guys, I got some dad jokes here in a minute, so I got to take care of those here in a sec. The motherboard is good enough. It is. Hey, Luke Serta Screaming, thank you. Yeah, and the other thing too is, but I mean, like more than even that, what Wiz is saying, I just say the platform. Like if you're building a new system, I would definitely recommend. If I was gonna do a workstation build on Intel, it'd be a 14700K. I will get those. GPU, that would be great with a 7800X3D, pretty much a 4070 Super, 4080, 4080 Super. It depends on the kind of games, like what kind of games do you play, Delicious? Because that's also very important, because you could save some money on Radeon if you don't play single player games. All right, so there we go. We got all those in. Let's do our dad jokes real quick.
Now, another Robeytech
we only have one
dad joke phone out.
Oh, guys, my favorite dad joke. What time did the man go to the dentist? What time did the man go to the dentist? Tooth-erty. Tooth-erty. Man, I tell that joke at least once a day. At least once a day. Tooth-erty. So Battlefield 5, then yes. If you're playing Battlefield 5, then I would go NVIDIA. Especially if you're like big, high tier visual games. That's where NVIDIA is definitely better than AMD. If you don't necessarily care about ray tracing and high-end visuals, then you can save some money by going to AMD. So, hey, look at the Robey cat. I like it, lousy soy. And Najia Panda going 46 months. It's good to see you, my man. So, okay, so we got what we have is we've put in our brackets. That was a little bit of an ordeal, but we got them in now. I'm gonna throw our thermal paste on there and go from there. So like Counter-Strike Source though and Gmod, then you don't necessarily need to use, you don't need to pay the NVIDIA tax in that case. Well, it's good to see you. It's good. Thank you for spending it with us, Najia. For 14, yeah, that's a great budget 1440p card. As long as you do not care about ray tracing. That's all. I'm always going to throw that in there because if you're like, well, I want to play ray tracing games and it's not a great budget 1440p card. But if you don't, then yes, it's a fantastic 1440p. Probably one of the best you're going to get from a pure rasterization standpoint. And not to say that FMF and FSR aren't good. They're nowhere near as good as NVIDIA. There we go. Ooh, that went actually very clear. Dorian the Critic dropping tier 1 sub. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for all your support and all that you do for this community. I don't know why I started doing that, but it sounded like the right thing to say. Lots of hype today, which I appreciate. You guys, thank you very much. Up to 28 subs. So we were well on our way, but thank you for all of you who support us financially. It means a lot. Just cleaning off my little spatula. Spatula. Yeah, from a budget standpoint, those are great cards. They're also very hard. They're getting way harder to get. So the 6000 series from AMD. Okay, so we got all that done. Let's go ahead and jump in and strip our case, get it cleaned up, get it ready for the next evolution. Oh, there we go. Okay, amazing. This is, well, it's funny because I have a LanCool 215 sitting right here. I love these cases. If you want to look like, if you just want a great airflow case, this is an amazing airflow case. So let's go and jump over to the side camera here. Okay, cool. We're gonna go ahead and get it stripped out. My MetaQuest 3 does PCVR up to 120 FPS. What's the lowest card I can get to achieve those frames at medium to high settings? If you're doing VR, 4070 Ti Super, 4080 Super are probably your more ideal to Dedrick Fugless. Especially for your more like, what is it, Asgard's Reign or whatever that game is. They have a tendency, or Half-Life Alyx, that really love the more high-end graphics cards. Yeah. I currently only have an RG Ally. I could use a gaming PC. Well, yeah, but don't get me wrong, the RG Ally is a gaming PC. You already have one. 4080 would be good too. I'm just saying 4080, well, I wouldn't buy a 4080. 4080 Super. 4080s are still way overpriced. Asgard's Wrath too, that's the one I was thinking of. Okay guys, so we're just pulling from the back here. Getting this case stripped. Does this one do that? No, this doesn't. I can never remember which one is the one that has the cool special pull. and the one that's not. Okay, I'm also going to go ahead and, just because it's fun, just for funsies, guys, we're gonna remove the front here. Alex crashes with my 3070 Ti, really? I haven't played that game in a long time. This looks like it lost a... Give me this. Oh, there it goes. I was like, why is that being so hard? I like this little feature down here. Now we have enough. We could throw a couple things on here if we wanted to, just for performance reasons. I could leave this alone and just let this, so leave these and then just do RX 120s at the bottom. You know what I mean? Just to give extra airflow and then just really make sure it's a high performance rig, which is I think what he wants. So yeah, I think we'll probably do that. I mean, again, we got 3 fans. We got these 3 fans that are basically gonna get controlled here. So let me undo this real quick. We'll run these off the motherboard and just give them a good, let the AI, the cooling AI for the, which I actually really like from the fine folks over at ASUS. I'll let their AI cooling thing take advantage, and then we'll run thermals on it and see how it does. I would do, is it just gaming delicious? Is it just gaming? Yeah, Roboto, I love this case. Gaming and streaming, then a 7800X 3D is gonna be your better option. Okay, so we got everything here. Just thinking through stuff. I would say the 7800X 3D for gaming and streaming. If you were gonna do video editing and you were doing more than that, then I would say that potentially. But the other thing too that's nice about you going to the 7800X 3D versus a 12700K, you can actually upgrade it later, right? So that's the other thing too that's actually really nice about doing AMD. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw our case in here. I'm gonna go ahead just because, and I'm gonna remove the drive tray here because it just takes up a lot of room. Okay, so we got all of this stripped out. Let's put our thing in here. Okay, go to top down. Feels like we get good reflection inside of this case, which is nice. So you should be able to see in it a little clearer as we build. But it's always when we put on the AIO that things get really dark inside of it. So try to put that, we usually put that in at the end anyway, so. There we go, build in. That looks really good, just starting out. Is that an NV5 behind you? No. Oh yes it is, sorry. Yes, it is an NV5. It's from the fine folks over at Cyberpower. It's just sitting on display here. I could probably just put those in here. See if they fit. Too thick? It'd be great if it wasn't. Nope, they're too thick. Dang it. I would have been like really impressed if that would have worked, but it doesn't. Is AMD or NVIDIA CPU better to pair with a 4070 Ti or 4080 Super? Currently I have a 3060 with a Ryzen 5. I'm thinking about time to upgrade for PC VR. You mean AMD or Intel? If you're playing at the resolutions they're doing at, then it honestly matters much, much less than the GPU you're using, Dedrick. So in this case, I would recommend obviously AMD because you'll be able to upgrade it. If it, say for instance, you went to an AM5 system now, and that's what you did, you'd be able to upgrade it again from a CPU standpoint easier. Right now, I mean, Intel is supposed to be announcing their later chips and their new chipset at the end of this year, and it just feels like kind of a lost cause. Yes, you can get good deals on it, but again, the upgradability on it right now is just not all that great. So if you're gonna do something that's just gonna last you a while, it feels like AMD is the better choice right now. Hopefully that answers your question. Both are fine. The answer to your question really honestly is no. Intel or AMD in terms of VR, there isn't one that works particularly better. It's very GPU dependent. Sorry, I should have answered your question very clearly. Okay. You're very welcome, Dedrick. Man, I can't believe we got the 230 joke, guys. To a Tera, the answer is that right now, there are people, and there have always been people that are seeing crashing issues with Intel. The amount and size of the impact of that is unknown. Intel has originally, the only thing that we've seen from Intel is Intel said that a lot of it has to do with how motherboard manufacturers are dealing with power, specifically when it comes to their chips, and that's what's actually causing the degradation, etc. But the new video that just came out from Steve Gamers Nexus, and then the other gentleman who I didn't know as well, but great video that basically breaks it down that says in data centers, which this is the interesting thing, guys. I did actually talk to data centers as well, and one of the things that people found actually very interesting about this is that most that I talked to said they don't know why they're using K-SKUs. K-SKUs, again, because you're not overclocking, and you'll still get the same single core performance off of the non-K-SKU. They were surprised to see that these data centers were actually using K-SKUs over the non-K-SKUs, like the 13900 and all that stuff. So anyway, that's just an interesting aside in general. But the point is that it feels like there's something else brewing underneath the surface. Intel has been very quiet, as of late. We don't really have a whole lot of information. We haven't had any of those issues, but I do know like Braythorn, I think Braythorn had said that he was having problems with rendering, which could or couldn't be. But we specifically, and we have a number of 14900K systems and 13900K systems, have not had anything happen. So that's where it is. I don't know. I don't have a good answer. And that's the thing is like until somebody comes out, it's like the same as kind of the thing that was happening with the 16-pin connections. It feels like even that hasn't been answered, right? I don't know if getting lucky is the right, I don't know if it's luck, bad luck maybe? I don't know. I'm glad, and it hides your cables nicely, right? People's elbow. Okay, we're just putting in screws right now. I'm screwing this motherboard. Wow, that sounds dirty. Oh, thanks, Pig Radio. Yeah, I finally got my haircut. Needed to. It was a little long for my taste. But yes, there are very specific people, and we're talking about people might have like a crash a month, right? But the part that's weird is that some people, it like goes crazy. Like it's like a terrible experience and it crashes all the time. Yeah, I'm still working on that, Sergeant Nobody. I'm not a miracle worker. Igor, you don't understand the plight of those of us like the hair people. I am not saying it's not a big deal. I'm just saying there's a lot of unknowns and we don't know the scope, and we really do need Intel to tell us, right? And we just don't have that information. But the other thing too is it's super interesting time. It's kind of this really interesting time in the fact that, like, you know, from a recommendation standpoint, you guys are seeing that even now, right? Like recommending Intel, unless you're getting like a really good deal, right? Like outside of the 14.7, which I really do still like to recommend just from a pure productivity standpoint. I mean, now with Arrow Lake and AMD 7000 or 9000 series right on the horizon, it'll be kind of like what happened last time where all of a sudden people are like, when are you gonna do an Intel build? It's like, well, it doesn't make sense because right now this is the right thing for people to build with, right? You know what I mean? Oh, Sergeant Noboy actually having to go full shave, eh? Wow. I have been very lucky and blessed. I am aware. Okay, guys, all of our screws are in. Just want to make sure I haven't dropped anything I was supposed to. I was like, wait, what is this? Okay, that's all done. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna see, I don't think we have enough room, but there is a cool place to plug this in if I can run it. I don't know if I'll be able to run it. I always try though. Okay, this one, you can do it. Okay, cool. We're gonna go to the side camera here. We are gonna remove this. Legion, and I feel like, I just really hope, I really hope that Intel is gonna do the right thing, right? That's what I want. I want Intel to do the right thing. For their customers and the people who are affected by this. I do not. That is something we should figure out. I don't know if there's a way to do it with Soundstripe, but no, currently, no, there is no way. Oh, if that would be like a dedicated tunnel. Oh, no way. They gave you a dedicated tunnel on this motherboard to actually run a cable down. That is so cool. And is it just the right length? Oh no, that is brilliant. Wow. Does it go all the way through? Oh man, that is so cool. Okay, so that was very easy. And that allows me to just do that. And then I can take this extra. Wow, that was really cool. I feel like this ain't live. What? Dex, I'm literally responding to you right now. I've been responding to all sorts of people. But I do not have a link to the soundtrack thing. Who am I not responding to? I've answered the Twitter's response on VR and some other things. So I don't know who I'm not responding to. Dex, did you ask a question I just missed? Okay, I need this way. I'm responding to myself, Omek. I'm trying. Okay, first zip tie is done, guys, so you know what that means, right? I think Blondie knows.
Zip tie man, guess the count of them if you can. Evens odds, who can know? Make your wagers on every show. Hey now, Robey's the zip tie man.
There it is, zip tie, guys. Time to see which one's in there. Zip tie for the win. Odd or even, you can make your bets. I have an old PC from back in 2017 looking to take it up to Windows 11 for Ryzen 7 1700 and at 1070. What can I put in to be able to take Windows 11? Clark, that is a great question. I do know that they're supposed to be getting rid of the TDP. Sorry, not TDP. What is the name of the chip, guys? The one that allows BitLocker. The BitLocker thing, it's the security thing that's usually the TPM. Thank you, PC guy. Too many three-letter acronyms. It's the TPM chip that was the requirement that was keeping you from being able to do that. I think with the Ryzen, yeah, so you basically need to see if you can buy a TPM chip for your motherboard, and then that would fix that problem. Yeah, Dex, I'm streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and all that stuff, and there's actually like 300 or 400 people here, so yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. So you feel like I'm actually talking to multiple people, and you know, you probably just think that I'm insane, which can be true from time to time, but this time actually not true. Okay, I'm trying to think about what I'm gonna do. I have one, so going to side camera, I'm looking at my fan headers. I got one way over here, which I could do one over there and one over here. But I do have, the AIO I don't have to worry about, which is fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and use these two fan headers here. There's one right here. I'm gonna use this one right here. They're saying, Dex, that the rest of them are saying that they're AI, so come join them. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna take this one right here, guys, and we're just gonna plug this in right up here. Luckily, all this stuff will be hidden by the AIO. So I'm just basically running these two fan headers. There we go. We'll run this out of that. So we'll give them those back. Okay, now we've got that done. So what we've done is we've hooked up two fan headers right now. So we've got one fan header here. You know what? Let's just show it the easy way, guys. That's what you guys want. You want the easy way here. So let's hope this camera works. Sometimes it doesn't. Did it work? Oh, it worked. Okay. So we've plugged in one of these fan headers. One of these, there were two fan cables that came off of the front of the fans here. We hooked up one here to the auxiliary point and the second one over here to the auxiliary point. And then we were able to run this fan down through this spot right here at the top, which is like a dedicated hole for running. Oh, I'm hoping to see. So a dedicated hole. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see that. There you go. So this right here is like a dedicated hole that actually came out right down here that allowed me to run the fan right here, and that's our rear exhaust fan. So that's how I was able to do it. So it's gonna be a very good job of just making sure that we actually have all of the cables hidden, which is what I try to do. So yeah, just it's action cam, but also trying to make sure that you guys can see what I do. All right, so that's all the cables. Now what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna just hook up all of our front panel connections and our other main gear cables. Luckily, because there's no RGB, there's not really a whole lot to hook up. Okay, so let's go here and grab our remote cam again. So the cables that we have for routing here. So we have a unified front panel header, which is cool. So unified front panel header. We have our USB-C header. We have our HD audio header, and then we have a USB 3.2 header. So those are the cables that we have. And they actually run through this really cool kind of like channel right here, which is really nice. So I really like the Velcro stuff for this particular case. It makes it really easy to do any cable management. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna look at the front. You're gonna see where I'm gonna route these, and you'll see me hook them up later. So this probably makes the most sense to run up here. So this is our USB 3.2. Just header. I hate this cable, it's just so thick. For USB-C, I'm guessing it's gonna run to the exact same place. I am correct. It's gonna run right up here to the same place. So there's USB-C. Front panel's pretty straightforward here. That's actually gonna run down and underneath right here, like that. And then we're gonna take our HD audio cable, and that's gonna run all the way down under here and come out right up here, right? So there we go. And that is all of our cables all routed the way that they need to be routed, which is awesome. So now what we can do, guys, put this down. You guys can actually watch me hook these cables up. I know, we're losing a lot of frames here. Ugh, okay. So let's go to top down now and zoom in so you guys can see me hook stuff up. Okay, so we're gonna start with our USB 3.2 here. That's just gonna go, actually it looks like it's gonna go around this way, like that. And you just wanna make sure you go right in a 90-degree angle there. USB-C, there's always a 50-50 chance. And I chose wrong, so it goes the other way. I'll check this in the back to see what I can do to make that a little bit cleaner. Okay, for the bottom here, scroll up. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our full front panel header, pretty straightforward, it just goes right here. So the front panel is up, it says F panel up at the top. Just gonna pop it right there. There you go. That's gonna hook that up. And over here to the left, we're gonna grab our HD audio. And that's just gonna hook in right here. There we go. And then that's all of our connections. So we got this connection, both of these connections are in, you got both these connections basically hooked up. Zooming out so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So these are plugged in, and then we got our front panel and our HD audio. So all of our main cables are kind of done, and then all of our current fans are hooked up as well. So we're just gonna flip this over, do some light cable management real quick, and make sure that this is good to go. Now luckily, just because of how this is, there's not a whole lot I have to do here outside of just doing this. We can take this like so, and this will probably just run up. We'll take this like so. Cable management into these, which is straightforward. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. What was the question, Ralph B? I missed it. I missed the question, sorry. I was busy focusing on cable management, my friend. Did I miss any questions while I was paying attention to cable management? I'm sorry if I was. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna bring this one up, which will be easy, and then that'll keep that clean and out of the way. And the other thing that's really nice about this case is it's got these little lips, which makes it easy to just kind of have this come up. Does a non-RGB system cost less? Not necessarily. I think RGB, in a lot of ways, because of how popular it is, sometimes it can be more less expensive, and the main reason for that is just because they produce more of them in bulk. Obviously, can make it less expensive, but that's not always the case. I don't think it saves you a ton of money if it does save you much static range. I mean, this system is $4,000, and I'd say that a lot of the RGB systems are very similar in terms of their cost. Okay, so there we go. Got those hooked up. Get those down. Nice clean look there. For those, let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, now what we're gonna do is take care of this. I have a quick question. How's the Lian Li Edge PSU been? I got it and it's coming in Friday, putting it into Corsair 6500X. Great PSU and really good for specifically what you're about to use it for, which is a dual chamber case. So I would say, if given that you're using it exactly what its use case for, is gonna be amazing. The other thing too is I would recommend as well, one thing I also like about it is that it has that beautiful USB hub, which is really awesome as well. So it's good. Is it bad that I took the Noctua and just love the plain Jane colors? No, there's nothing wrong with that. PNY is pronounced pony. I don't think that's true. We talked to PNY. Yeah, Hoku, that might be that might have to be a Dell question. I don't know if you're gonna be able to find that TPM chip. That might be a Dell question. If not, you may have to actually get a new motherboard. Oh, what's up, Figment? Figment, I never knew. It was actually cool to know that we had met you for the first time. Like how it all started was Amazon Prime. That's pretty cool. Let me just say, I just wanted to add that in there. I saw someone mention that the fans can get louder. Did you ever notice it during testing? You mean for the Lian Li? No, but I did have somebody say that. During the review thing, is that because they didn't get the noise compliance thing, that may be true, but we did not notice that. That's not to say that it won't happen. We are going to be doing some builds with the Lian Li Lian Li Edge PSU later, but right now there's not anything soon. So I don't really have a good answer, and I'm sorry if that's true. But we did not notice it. I can say that. We did not notice it during our testing. But we don't test PSUs like that. So that's one thing. Hey, Figment, 14 months, and there it is. OMEX 6 is today your actual birthday? That's pretty awesome. Thanks for spending it with us. Okay, we're just getting this stuff kind of cleaned up so it's out of the way right now. Okay, guys, some nice clean cable management there, and that takes care of our fan cables. I did, in case you're curious, I did actually disconnect them and then run them underneath so they were out of the way. They weren't running on top, just to make it a little bit cleaner. So, okay, so there we go. Cable management complete thus far. Pretty straightforward, looks nice and clean. Our cables are out of the way and should stay nice. Which I always appreciate. Cinco de Mayo, no, I'm on May 5th. Oh, you're literally on Cinco de Mayo. Victor, it's actually not more than that. It's not that I don't pay attention. Sometimes it's just looking up. So the way that I see it, I have chat here. You know what? Actually, Victor, I'll show you. Let's just show you. That'll be the easiest way to do it. So when I look at chat, guys, this is the way I look at chat. So this is what I actually see. And you can actually see right there, like you guys can see, like this is what, as it goes, this is what I can basically control and what I can basically see. So if it happens and it doesn't get to the top there, then I won't be able to get to see it. So sometimes I miss chats, you know what I mean? So that's just the way that it works. So it's not, sometimes it just comes down to how fast chat moves. Yeah, that's you guys. Okay, so everything here is good. I think at this point in time, what we're gonna do is we're literally on AIO. So everybody knows what that means, right? Smile, you're on Robey camera.
Justin Robey has a show,
AIO.
and on that show he builds PCs.
AIO.
With a dad joke here and a zip tie there, RGB, and Blondie Bakiki, Justin Robey has a show.
AIO. Okay, AIO time, guys. So now we're gonna start getting that installed. Hey, Cyber Aurelius, thank you very much for the sub. Build is looking pretty good thus far, right? Nice and clean. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace all the RGB fans in this with non-RGB, and we're gonna install it. Which will be good. It's pretty stealth looking so far, but we will make it more stealth. We'll make it stealth crazy. Oh, really? Apocalyptic? That's awesome. It's a great name, just by the way. Some might say the greatest. Okay, we got a splitter here. Some cable stuff. Warranty information. Don't need to worry about that. We'll get to that here in a minute. Put all the other stuff away. I think this one, yeah, this is, I guess I didn't need to put thermal paste on, but I did, so we'll clean off this stuff. Given that we're all about performance here. Okay, so. Let's grab our wow stick. There it is right there. Put the top down. $719, I'm not sure. It can be out for a very long time, Mel. It's literally, think about it like this, dude. This stuff has been sitting on here since it left the factory. I mean, it's still getting air. It's all that sort of stuff, right? Like thermal paste doesn't it doesn't dry out, if that makes sense. Admiral, thank you very much for the sub. Okay, just getting all this stuff open. So we're gonna remove these. I wonder if I was always curious. Oh, I was like, wait, what's going on? No, that's because I didn't take all the screws. Okay, so they do remove the back plastic. I was always curious about that because the fans are pre-installed. There we go. I didn't see. Oh yeah, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. I mean, don't forget to like and subscribe over at YouTube, guys. Do us a solid. I'd appreciate it. He's back there. NVMe. And yes, Cole is right. I can see all the chats. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do our peels here. There's that one. It's going to be all stealth, guys. I'm glad he's doing well. I'm glad that Robeycat is doing well. The real Robeycat. There we go. Peeling all our stuff here. Okay. Just want to make sure magnetically we're aligned here. Okay. Still have to put in our connectors, but want to make sure the magnets are hooked up. I think these are the screws, and these are the, yep, that's what I was looking for. These are the screws. Okay, just getting our connectors out here so I can connect all the fans together. I like the Antec C8 the best. Like, that's of the ones that you're talking about, I like the C8. Okay, so now we're just putting all having to connect our cables, our fans together. So even though they magnetically go together, they still need the actual connections before you make sure. There we go. There we go. Oh, whoa, whoa. Gotta make, that's the only tough part, is you gotta make sure that they're also magnets. It's like if you put them in the wrong way, they'll push each other over and stuff, which is kind of funny. Okay, and then we'll put these on. There we go. Do you think more radiators is better or case fans? Real JP, are you what do you mean more radiators? Because if you're gonna do custom water cool loop, then obviously more radiators is gonna be better, but it depends on what you're gonna do with the build. But you can't add more AIOs, you know, radiators to an AIO. I know I'm coming in the middle of the conversation, yeah. And radiators need fans. What is the song? I don't know what the song is. Or are you talking about the Halloween one? I don't know the song. I'm like genuinely lost which song. Oh, the Halloween one? Oh, I don't, you know, it's funny. We'll see. I'll not touch it. I didn't touch it this time. We'll see if maybe it's still there. Oh, that was interesting. That's usually not that hard to get in. Okay, 2 more screws, guys, then we got all the fans in. Okay, takes care of that. I think I want to do this the other way. Yeah, I think I want to, sorry, I want to flip these, guys. I know I did all that, but the main reason being is that if I do it this way, I don't have enough room to hook up the cable. Live and learn. For hardcore overclocking, you want to add as many radiators as you can, right? So if you're going to do hardcore overclocking, the more radiators, the better. So radiators and fans, right? Ideally, you want at least 360 millimeter radiator per heat component in your case. So if you think about, if you have a CPU and a GPU, then you want a 360 per each one of those, right? Or at least one heat dissipating radiator per. If the most you can do is a 360, 240, the better, right? So ideally, like that's why a lot of people do cases where you can do multiple 360 millimeter AIO, 360 millimeter radiators, right? Because the more radiator space you have, the more you basically can heat dissipate. Good thing, yeah, I know. Good thing I do have the WoW stick. And then that cable is like in the prime location now, which is what I wanted. Luckily, this is not a big deal. I mean, it's like, yes, it's not the most interesting visual content, but this build's actually going together pretty quickly, so it'll be okay. You're very quiet. Any question I can ask, Real JP. I try my best to answer all the questions. So it all depends on which case, right? You will, like, ideally you have one, preferably one set. You have one, that's why people like the Lian Li, is that you have one set of fans that are just for intake of air, right? That are unobstructed to pull in the most amount of air to feed the radiators that are on the inside. So you'll do a side intake with top and bottom being exhaust. And then the other thing too is that I've also seen, and which I think is better, is actually do intake for your rear fan as well. So you'll do rear intake, and then you'll feed the exhaust for the other. Okay, cool. So that hooks up those. And this is so we can hook up to the larger adapter, and then our AIO is ready to go. And this is all the connection hardware. Oops. So you do not need that. We're gonna use the shorter one. I think we'll be okay. But they gave us a long. That's pretty cool. They give us a long and a short, which is nice. But I do need that. And then they give you some extra stuff. This I don't need. This I don't need. That. I don't think I'll need the long, but we'll see. Okay, so there's our thing. This I don't need either. It's just a spare. Okay. That is all good. Now what we can do, guys, is get this into our case. I mean, onto our case part. I'm gonna put it as far front as possible. I have the Seasonic Synchro case and I'm over it. Wish I'd never bought it. Oh, interesting. Okay, what we're doing now is we're just getting our AIO installed onto the bracket. We're pushing it as far forward as possible. This is one of the things I like about the removable brackets for cases, right? Is that you just end up with a lot more room. There we go. Yeah, the 011 Vision is a toaster oven. It does not give you enough airflow. That's kind of the problem. Yeah, the Tim Tams, I like the Y70 because you get it down at the bottom. Like you get that extra airflow down at the bottom, which is nice. And the good thing is because I can remove the AIO, like I can just take off the front screws, I can go ahead and screw this all the way down and be good for installation, you know? Raxness, because there are still you can still do iCue Link. There are iCue Link non-RGB fans. And they're still easier, it's still very easy to replace the whole AIO because there's only two cables you need to unplug. Actually, iCue Link still makes it very easy for doing maintenance. I don't think you have to use RGB to use iCue Link. The 011 Dynamic Evo, I'd say. Yeah, Tim Tams, that's what I gotta go find out. So I gotta see if, I'll be able to see if I can do it. If I can, I can't. It's not critical to this build to throw the Quick Connect 120, to throw iCue Link 120 fans at the bottom. It's not like the GPU temps on this are gonna be so good, it's not gonna really matter. No, it's a great question, Araxness. But yeah, when I thought about it, it's like, again, it just makes maintenance on the system so much easier, which matters to me on commission builds, because if I'm like, hey, I need to replace this, it's like, well, then let's get it replaced, you know? There's that. Next question then, laugh aloud. Titanium rated PSU. I know this is a commission build, but Tex had to raise an eyebrow on that. In what way? Just the fact that it's so highly rated? Or just that the money was spent on it? Well, I mean, the main reason being is that he didn't pay full price for we actually were able to get him a deal on this, so it was just something in terms of giving him a deal because we had one, and so it was like, it was a great PSU that he just got an extra deal on. So that's why. It was just one of those things where I'm like, well, I have one of these if you want to do it, and we have a spare one. So yeah. So sometimes we just sit there and say like, hey, do you want that? It's like, oh yeah, for sure. And they're like, yeah. I mean, they're getting something nicer, right? So there's no complaints there. No, that's a great question. I'm glad that you could ask. That's what, I'm always open to answer questions, right? If people are like, why did you do that? Yeah. You guys know me. If I have it my way, I'm always using the Aura Gold or the Tough Gold. But this one is, I was like, oh, he has a 4090. It's clean power delivery, right? Like there's some other kind of like benefits to it. So it's just like, oh, okay, well, this would be a good person to actually who could put, you know, like makes sense to actually put this in here somewhat. I'm just getting this lined up. Doesn't hit, which is great. What is this hitting? Oh, it's hitting this plastic piece. Okay, cool. Just making sure that doesn't hit. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put in, I'm just checking right now. So that's all loaded, but this, I wanted to check this before I sealed it all the way in. It does look like I need to, I do need to put in our EPS connector real quick. Why, Demo, why do you say that? There we go. Put that in. There's that. Since we have dual, we'll go ahead and throw both in. I do not need these. I do need this. There we go. Okay. How you doing, Woodward? How are you? Thanks for saying what up. Do you ever run an issue with the AIO lines being too short, an extension thing, or would be? I have not 420, but I do know that there are circumstances, like say for instance, if you want to have hoses run a certain way, where people have run into that. I just have done enough builds. That's not ever anything that I've had to contend with, if that makes sense. Yeah, Araxis is kind of the way it goes, right? I was anti-RGB until all of a sudden I wasn't. I was vegan until I started eating meat. That's what happened to my sister and my brother-in-law. I thought you were vegan. Well, I was until I wasn't. Okay guys, what we're doing right now is we're just installing our EPS connectors. The case is like, well, luckily that's beautiful. Okay, cool. So you actually have lots of room post the case to, just getting them installed is going to be going to be an issue. Click. Okay, there it is. Well, it's because it's red, green, blue. I don't know if anybody's thought like, hey, there was enough of a problem to rethink renaming RGB. I mean, they do. I mean, there are in some regards like other names like illuminated lighting or crystal illumination or whatever, you know, weird marketing term somebody's added to it, but it's just so basic, right? Like it does just the best like explanation for what it is. So I'm not to say marketing people haven't tried. Yeah, these are the PSU CPU plugs I'm doing right now. Yes. I'm just doing the EPS connectors, and then I'm making sure they're even. And they're extensions, right? So it's just to make sure that it looks really polished. And I just went ahead and did 2 because this kit came with 2, so I added 2. You don't need 2, but I went ahead and did it. Go. So the question is, interesting, hold on. Okay. I might have to use the magnetic for this. I want to make sure there's plenty of room, but there's a little bit of a gap there. I might have to push this back. Nope, I'm gonna have to give this a little bit more room. Sucks. I want to give it as little as possible, but the front of the AIO hits it a little, so just loosening it up here. Okay. Why is this being so problem? No. Got bent back a little, that's why. This should not supposed to be this hard. There we go. Nope. There we go. Got it in. Okay, cool. Okay. Now we can screw this down. Little fitment things from time to time. You gotta work through. Making sure that that spins without a problem. This is why I wanted it as far forward as possible. Looks like I forgot one screw. Yeah, it's so stealthy. Well, I mean, that's why people have me build it, right? There we go. There we go. Do you ever do builds suggested by your subscribers? Real JP, we have done like builder's choice, and then we do have competitions from time to time. So the answer is yes. It happens pretty infrequently, not out of because I would love for it to not be infrequently. It's just usually there are enough new cases and stuff like that that sometimes we have to, it's just like we always prioritize showing you guys the new stuff first. Back when I was, smaller as a streamer and as a content creator, it was easier. But I'd say now it hasn't been as easy. So yeah. But the answer is yes, and we do try to. So we have one of those. It's over there. I actually do have one. But the thing is, I lay down the build too much, so moving it, and it's just easier to move around it versus having to remove the Lazy Susan. I actually have a Lazy Susan right here. Yeah, there are a lot of people who have Robeytech builds. A lot of people, and more than one. They're like, this one is a commission, but we have a lot of people who love them. And we test them and all that sort of stuff beforehand. And every once in a while we'll have an issue. Like, we have one gentleman, man, whose system just seems to overheat. We're supposed to get his system back. I need to go follow up with him, find out what's going on there. Get in there. Because sometimes these cable combs can be painful. And it's always the point when I put the lid on, or like the AIO on, that it gets really dark in the case. Real JP, there's a lot of people who live vicariously that way. Like, oh, I built this PC, and then they, you know, they PC part pick it, and then, you know, like put it out there and go, what do you guys think, and what would you change? I think that's always a fun experience, you know? Okay, so we got our extension in now. Just want to make sure these are at like, essentially at 90. Just want to work on here. I want no angling, which is always a problem. Which, again, putting it there is not going to work because it needs to be higher. Well, it may work. See how that looks. Still angled. Really want it like right here. Want a nice, like even 90 degrees. So we're gonna grab a longer zip tie from the fine folks over at Zotac who sent it to me, and zip tie that down so it's in the right place. Go. Figure that out here in a minute. Okay. One sec, guys. My wife's texting me real quick. Okay, so I can put this away. Masterbox Q300, I don't know if I know that one. Oh, I think we've built in, I don't remember. We built on some cooler master cases, but it's been a while. Okay, just putting our extras away here. Okay, guys, a lot of this stuff is actually in pretty good shape. I'm gonna go ahead and, things I gotta check is I gotta check if we can put two things at the bottom here, but first thing I'm gonna do is just quickly, whoa, that was really fast how that slipped down. I'm gonna just quickly, if you go to top down here, we are doing one with the Asus Maximus BTF next week. And we're giving away a system during that. ASUS will be joining us for that build. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now slam that down for no reason. Okay, cool. Okay, so everything is good here. Looks very, very smoked out. Well, right now we haven't unlocked any giveaways yet. So I think we never hit a level 5. We never started a hype train. We never, I don't know, where are we at on likes on YouTube? $145 of 250, so we need almost over 100 likes on YouTube. There are enough people to hit it. You want to head over to YouTube and hit that like button. Okay, oops, we have a wrap around this. There we go. Just so you know, the plastic's off the bottom because you can't put the plastic on the bottom. There we go. Now this AIO, I will say one of the reasons that people do see performance issues on this AIO is when they don't screw it all the way down. They're not very tight about screwing this AIO down. So I will say, if you're going to use this AIO, make sure that you make sure that it's all the way tight. The only thing that's also rough about this AIO is it really likes tubes right. So it's Tuesday or Thursday of next week. Well, you will see on the schedule. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but we ended up with an issue. So we're gonna do the Asus A21 build tomorrow, I think. And then that build will be later next week. And we're giving a PC away when we do that build. Okay, so you just want to make sure it's really tight. Okay, there we go, and we'll pull the final pin off later. Okay, now let's see if it is possible to put two RX 120s on the bottom. That's the next question. These are not quite. I just feel like I want to put this on the other side here. Keep this pushed out. I don't know if that's going to work though. We'll have to see. It may not work yet. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's do, okay, so we're gonna see now if we can push, if we can actually put some some RX 120s on this, just to give it some extra airflow for the GPU. It doesn't need it, not really, but if you can't daisy chain it, it would be kind of a waste. So I actually don't think it's gonna work, but we'll look real quick. He didn't pay for them, so I didn't charge him for them. So it was just one of those things I was like, oh, this case does actually have room to add 2 fans down at the bottom if we wanted to. Now, if they're separated, it works, but I'm gonna see if I can, if they're not, if it still will allow me to do it. Guys, head over to youtube.com/Robeytech Live. Hit that thumbs up button. There we go. Let's take a look here. And I think this, I think you're supposed to install the fans. I don't remember. This doesn't actually have fan screw mounts. Oh, this has fan screw mounts. Oh, okay, so this is how you, and then you must have to basically do them from the top. So this must have long screws. Let me see here. Yeah, I got them right here. Okay, let's see if this works. So this would basically, I just fill these with 120s, which it looks like it would space out okay, so. Five years, huh? That's awesome. That's amazing, Blondie. Sorry guys, we're in like a little bit of experimentation mode. So I'm sorry if I've taken my attention away from the chat temporarily. And the build is so close to done at this minute. Does that include the mixer one, Blondie? Does that include doing stuff at when we were doing morning mixer, or is that like just for Robeytech? It's not. It's not, see? The fan spins. So it's like, again, we'll train the fan to do this, but like the fan spins fine. It's not actually touching it. Just gonna see if this works real quick. These are here. It'll actually be like this. I just want to see if the holes line up and that we can do this. It looks like it does. Okay, there's that one. See if this one lines up, and if it does, then we can do 2 intake fans, which will just, okay, yeah. That lines up, guys. So we're gonna give them 2 intake fans. Okay. 2 intake fans at the bottom. Pull that, pull that, pull that, pull that. Then we just need save this. Go ahead and take this, which is fine. This can go in here. 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 But these, I need 1. Training squad, I think my favorite would be the new 9700X. That, you know, it's basically you get uplift over a 7800X 3D, plus you get the full, basically, productivity power, and you get to do it at only 65 watts. So that's going to be probably my go-to for most people. I think the other ones are kind of overkill, so that's where my recommendation is right now. I mean, obviously the best is but I mean, like, yeah, just power, and then the price, and that's going to be great. The Ryujin is the best performing AIO we have ever tested. Like, just hands down. It has yet to be beat in a full year. The Ryujin 3 has been our best performing, our best tested, best showing AIO we've ever used. So, that's the answer to that question. Okay, so there, our fans are in. Now we just got to do, guys, is hook this up. And then we just got to hook, the only thing that we have left from a wiring standpoint is just to make sure that just got to make sure that our hub is in. Why are you not going in there? Sorry. Why are these all lined up, and then now they're not lining up? Come on. The middle fans, the middle ones. Okay, that one did. Oh, shoot. Well, it would help if I flipped them over. Yeah, 65 watts it can run on an air cooler, which is crazy. It would help if I actually turn this around the way that it needs to get run. So good thing I didn't figure out, I didn't screw all those in yet, because my fans were not set to intake. Go. Go. There we go. Okay, now it's lined up, guys. This should go fairly quick. Okay, good. So we got good airflow now to everything. Now he's gonna have lots of good airflow for his AIO, his GPU. We're gonna give lots of air to, I mean, like, he's just gonna have lots of air flowing around. We always want lots of air. Very, very good performance build we got here, which I love. AIOs are not, I don't think AIOs are tied to releases. Because the other thing too is like there's nothing about the 9000 series that requires updated AIOs. They're AM5, so they all still work, right? Like that's, I mean, even you still won't even see AIOs for the new Arrow Lake either, because LGA 1851 works with modern day AIOs. And because AM5 is actually a much more mature platform at this point in time, like you won't even see stuff like different heights or anything like that as well, where we might see something where you'll see different standoffs. You might see different standoffs for LGA 11851, right? Or something like that. So, but in terms of new AIOs, there's not gonna be anything specific that's gonna require new AIOs to come out. I don't think there's gonna be something like that. And honestly, they should be easier to cool. So. Okay, all I'm doing now is I'm hooking up our iCue Link stuff, which this has a beautiful place to just sit it, which is nice. There we go. And this one will just go up like this. It's a really long cable. Not really the bit. Okay, we could do that. Feels like the better thing to do is just to trying to find just that much too long. There you go. That'd be ideal. There we go. One thing I'm trying to do is make sure that this is straight once we get it kind of done. Okay, so that'll take care of this, and then we'll make it straight here over here in a sec. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that's all good. Now we just got to take our little small cables that we have to run. We have one that goes up to our, oh shoot, I just realized. Well, I should still be able to reach it. This goes up to our, I'm plugging in up here. So just have one that goes to our CPU fan header, which is I've already disconnected. So I pulled that out when I did. cool, perfect. Okay. Okay, that's the one cable we had to worry about that had to get plugged in here. Ugh. This is gonna run down into this spot. It already goes sideways. There we go. And then this, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make it do a good job of running along this. Probably the smart thing to do, we have 2 of these, so that'd be perfect. Okay, 2 small ones. Use one right here. Hold this in. There we go. And this one, geez. What do you think of the H14 MAD? What do you mean MAD? Sorry. Just doing my cable management. So let's just saw this. Oh, well, I mean, dude, it's not gonna, like, again, both of them are gonna be great. Like, I don't think you have any problem with either platform. And you can see our review, I don't actually think that, I think when we did the review for this, we weren't testing on both. Now when we do our AIO reviews, we show you performance on both. Actually, we do have performance on both. So if you wanna go watch the one that we just did on the Trix 360, and you can actually see the performance difference on AMD versus on Intel, and the numbers for the H150i would be on there. But I don't remember it being. I think it's pretty close to the same. Matt Admiral, thank you for the resub, and then Igor dropping 2 more gifted subs. Thank you, sir. Okay, guys, so that's that. All we have left, we have 2 more connections to take care of, which are straightforward. Just some short. This is USB to plug into the motherboard. The motherboard, so we can control the USB for this. So plug that in, and then this is just the power for to make sure that it's plugged in. It's actually weird on the both ways. Like, we've seen ones that like are great on Intel and then terrible on. It's just I think it's what helps and what you see consistency is when, like, on the 8th gen Asetek pumps, when they do a unified mount for both, that's when you see the difference in terms of one being good over the other. So it just has to do with the mount method for sure. Okay, just gonna go to side here real quick. Just gonna plug in our USB down here at the bottom. So we have that in. So just to show you guys a couple things that I've done real quick. So going to our roaming here. So now we have our, oops. So we have our, is this dead? Oh man, oops. So we have our USB that we plugged in. Sorry, guys. There were USB that we plugged in right here. And then down here at the very far end, up here at the top, you can see that we actually plugged in, that's where we plugged in the little cable right there. That's where we plugged in the little cable that is the pump, lets the pump know and tells the CPU header that the pump is working. And then now we can do this and peel that off. There we go. Okay, guys. We are at the very end of this build. We just got to hook up our USB cable, and then it's all downhill. Then we have our GPU, and then that's kind of it. USB cable goes right here. There we go. We could do this. Go. Do the second one just with a little bit of a zip tie here. And this will do a good job of keeping this straight. There we go. Okay, so all of our cabling is plugged in now. All of that is all hooked up, which is great. We have our one thing that we have to get down, and then all of our cabling stuff is like that. So final cable management, for the most part, all we're missing is one GPU cable, but this is like final cable management in terms of where we are. We just have to run this and figure this little part out, but for the most part, pretty clean, you know what I mean? You got some little cables from here and there, but pretty straightforward in terms of the look, yeah. Okay, GPU time. Yeah, we're gonna have to work on that cable thing there. So we'll figure that stuff out, and we'll pull it way far out just to keep it off. Okay. Okay, now what we gotta do is get our room for our GPU here. There we go. And there we go. I'm pretty sure this is a 3 slot, but let's remove 2 for now. That is not the cable, this screw I wanted to put in there. These I did. Okay. I need to get our GPU out. Okay. Okay, here we go. There we go. And again, for folks who don't know, just because we haven't covered it in a while, here's the parts that we're using in today's build. Hey, Packet Watchdog, thank you very much for the sub, by the way. 11 months. Intel Core i9-14900K. We're using the Asus ROG Strix Z790F Gaming Wi-Fi 2 motherboard. We have the PNY RTX 4090 We have the 5 terabytes of Samsung 990 Pro. G.Skill Ripjaw, it's actually 64 gigs, not DDR5, not 32. 64 gigs of DDR5 at CL30. Lian LanCool 216 non-RGB. The Corsair iCue Link H150i liquid CPU cooler, and then we have the Be Quiet Dark Power 13 1000 watt PSU, and then we're using the Corsair iCue Link RX120 non-RGB fan. So that's the parts we're putting inside of this. Okay, here we go. It's actually, we actually added 2 sticks. So it's actually, it was 1 stick, but then I switched his PSU down and spent the, and used the extra money to upgrade to 64 gigs. Okay. So PNY is it's an NVIDIA card, just so you know. Flashy flash. PNY is an NVIDIA 40, it's an NVIDIA RTX 4090. It's just a brand like AMD, like it's a brand of card. That makes sense. Yeah, it's all good. That's why we're here. Answer those questions. That's why you can always ask those questions. Yeah, and Kingpin now works for PNY. Okay. So Bridget Robertson, what we're giving away right now, there's nothing to give away because we haven't unlocked any giveaways. Right now, the only giveaway that's close to being unlocked is a $25 NUA gift card. Yeah, if we get to it. There's no PC giveaway or anything. That's not till next week. Okay, here we go, guys. Nice little peel here. Oh, there's that back plate ready. There we go. Oh, this one's got a lot of peel here. Okay, another corner here. Go. Okay, got all the peels off finally. Wow, that was quite the peel process. Very appealing. Ugh. Okay. Time to get this bad boy in. I was right, it's 3 slots. Not that I should have expected any different, but hey, man can dream, right? Ugh. The PC that we're giving away, you'll know it'll be built tomorrow. So if you tune in tomorrow, you should be able to see the PC that we're giving away. Live on stream. And it's probably a 4070. And I think it's I don't remember what the CPU is. That did not go into the put this down a little bit. It's gonna fill up this card. This card's gonna fill up this build nicely, which I like. Why is this not going into these slots? And again, it didn't go into the slots. I'm actually going to do myself a favor. Oh, that was weird. There you go. It's weird. It's like, okay, but I mean, it's in, it's clicked. There we go. Okay, so that's that. That actually, I think that would actually be a pretty cool idea. Having clear tubes on an AIO would actually be really neat. Okay, so now all we got to do is run our 16, if this is tall enough. Here we go. Okay, so now we just need to run our 16-pin cable, which is right here. And then power supply, and we're done. $181 to $250, guys. We still have a lot. There's still quite a few, like there's over 300 and something people here. If we want to go ahead and hit that like button. Hope this is easy to get slotted through. Let's go ahead and do that first. Ugh. Just want to make sure we have a lot of room to route this up and through. There we go. Just pulling this now. Making sure our cable combs are appropriately out. There you go, nice clean line there. And then there, that's pretty much how our build that right there is pretty much how our build is going to look in its final form, you know what I mean? Looks really good, really clean. And there you go. I think the P and Y will actually light up, so we'll probably just make that white. We'll make the RGB on the motherboard white. We could have done a Pro Art, but we'll probably just make that white. So what little there is in here, we'll make white just to keep it, you know, simple. Okay, guys, now it's time for the PSU, and then we're all done. 7702, we talked about that at the beginning of the stream. You know, again, we're still waiting for the official information from Intel. We had, like, there is, like, in terms of from the consumer base, there are definitely people who have problems, but it's much smaller, right? Like, we're like, if it was something at the consumer level that people were seeing, there would be a lot more noise about it. If the person has an issue, we'll work with them. This is something that they wanted. And at the same time, we do know, and you know, we've talked to other SIs and other people, is that once they've dropped the prices down to, I mean, the temps down to Intel, sorry, the settings down to Intel stock settings, they haven't had almost any customer complaints. So yeah, that's kind of where it's at. So the Level 1 Tech Gamers Nexus thing, the thing that was super interesting about that, and so we had some conversations as well with some data centers, which was the part that was more interesting, is that they were surprised that data centers were using 14900Ks and not 14900s. Because again, one of the things that's so nice about K SKUs is that, of course, that they can basically be overclocked, but you're using, the thing is that a 14900 gets the same single-threaded performance without all of the issues, and so they're not understanding why these data centers were using those particular CPUs. That felt like a very weird choice, especially these, and remember guys, it was a game dev for 20 years. So this is not something where it's coming through that people are like, wait, what? Most of the time they're using, most of the data centers we talked when they use Intel products are using non-K SKUs, which is thing. Yeah, and they're not they don't overclock the CPUs. But the one thing that I did learn is that the particular board they're talking about, that doesn't necessarily mean that, and this is all motherboard manufacturers, that those are actually using Intel stock settings. And depending on what they're doing, whether that's voltage or anything like that, which a lot of times between the different board sets, they'll actually use very similar. So like, they'll still use very similar settings across different board across different board families. So that's not to say that those particular boards didn't have over wattages or anything like that. Now that's not to say that having that kind of failure rate, I do believe they really did get that kind of failure rate, but there was a couple things that people had asked questions, which was like, why are they using those particular CPUs? That doesn't make sense. And it's like, and then the other thing too is that motherboard could still be the culprit, but again, we're still waiting for information, right? We don't know, and we're waiting for Steve's second video. And the other thing too is, like, even when Steve had said that he had found the issue around the 4090, it ended up coming to find out that actually isn't true, and that truth be told, that we're still having issues with that. So yeah, it's really coming down to talking to. We're talking about, guys, we're talking about the largest distributors of these K CPUs, like which are the people who do pre-builds. They are not seeing, once they've changed the motherboard settings, they're not seeing the customer returns or issues like they were. Yeah, and Intel, so Wiz042, I want to be super clear. I want Intel to do the right thing, and I would like an answer from Intel, and Intel should answer the question. And I'm a little, I don't know, maybe they've been waiting because they're like, oh, well, it's a dead socket, but that doesn't make it right, you know what I mean? So, and Araxis, yes, I did know that Braythorn specifically had said that he was having issues with the 14900K. The part that's interesting though, Araxis, is that if you weren't to go and do an identical system with a similar 14900K, would he still have issues? Let's be honest, Adobe has problems. I mean, like, again, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. And so that's the thing, is that there are people who are calling for recalls, but the number of people, I don't, like, the thing is like, it's one thing where somebody says, hey, somebody did something wrong, and then people are saying, yeah, you should fix it. So it's the issued customer, the part that's hard. And Steve even asked, Steven, go back and watch the beginning of it, because he's like, if this was 50%, then we would see a lot more noise than we actually are. And the thing is companies aren't quiet about this stuff too. So I'm not saying, like, I'm not defending Intel. What I'm saying is that there are parts where there's data from a very small subset of people, and then there is the larger world. And the thing is that at that level, we haven't seen that kind of problem. So we'll have to just see, right? I would not buy a KS. But truth be told, like, when you're like, guys, we're literally 15 days from new AMD CPUs that are outperforming the 14900K, outperforming the 14700K. Intel's like 14th gen, 13th gen, and 12th gen is technically a dead slot. So if you're looking at building a new PC, I wouldn't even be using those anyway. Again, AMD is just a better choice. And to get like better than 7800X3D at 65 watts with, on the 9700X is going to be the CPU that more than likely you're going to see me recommend, because you can still do productivity tasks, you can still do gaming and get all the benefits of that you were seeing with the gaming, and you're doing it on less cooling and it's more efficient. So that's kind of where my thing is. But I mean, if you're somebody who's already got a 14900K and you're not seeing any crashing, you know what I mean? Because that's the thing, is like, sometimes they're saying it could be once a month, and there's no way of knowing that that's actually having to do with that issue, or just the fact that Windows sometimes can be weird, right? So you're not serious. Wait, no, Zerv Gamer, I'm not twisting myself into being the good graces of Intel at all. That's not it at all. I'm just saying, I think what I'm saying is that there's smoke. We need to see what the actual issue is. There are people who are saying that data centers are having problems, but when you look at the larger scheme of people who are reporting issues, it's not high. That's my point. Customer size and what he is saying, and they are going and doing more investigation, and we need answers from them and Intel. I'm not saying that he's not trustworthy. Oh my gosh, this is the problem that I always have with this. Zervtech, go look up Justin Robey. Go search me on Moby Games. I have been a game developer for 20 years. I went and asked people the same questions, and the question, I'm not trolling you. The point I'm trying to say is that I believe that, yes, he absolutely talked to people who are having this issue, that have 50 to 100% failure rates on 14900Ks. When I had my same conversations with people who also do this, the questions they had is, why are game companies or game developments running servers on 14900Ks? That's not a thing. That shouldn't be a thing. Why are they doing that? You don't need the overclocking capabilities. All you need is a single threaded performance, which you can do on a 14900 and 13900, which means you don't have the heat dissipation, which you don't want to have in a server environment. The second thing is, and this is the question that Steve actually asked in the video, is if, understand these guys are running it 24/7, but the thing is that from a customer base standpoint, when people were basically downclocking and doing the motherboard stuff, the reports and the issues, specifically when it came to the people who were basically sending these systems, your CyberPowers, your iBuyPowers, your Falcon Northwest, all this, saw the issue pretty much almost disappear. I'm not saying there's not a problem. I do think there's a problem, just like I think there's still a problem with the RTX 4090. I'm just saying that we don't have the answer, and I don't want to give into sensationalism and cause a lot of panic when we don't actually know. That's my point. I haven't plugged it in yet. We haven't put the power supply in. So no, it has nothing to do with saying I'm going to be in the good graces. I do stuff for AMD, I do stuff for Intel, I do stuff for NVIDIA. Go and look. I'm on AMD's short stuff all the time. I don't have an issue. And if Intel does the wrong thing, then yes, then we will have problems. But right now, I'm not saying that it's there. So that's my point. It has nothing to say that, dude, the work that he did was awesome. That was amazing. And he dug in the right place, and he is asking the right questions. The question is, what is the problem? And then the other thing too is it something that is as good? Yeah. Zerv Gamer, I 100% agree with that. And if it ends up being anywhere near as bad as if it ends up being bad and they've just swept it under the rug, that is not cool. But I also will say that is also something that if you're Intel, and just understand, right? This is me having worked for Microsoft for 20 years. That is like, that's hard to recover from if you try to sweep something like that under the rug. That is an issue. And so I hope to God, for their own reputation and sake, that's not something they did. But maybe they did, and that would suck. That would really suck. So I'm not giving anybody, guys, you'll also understand, I'm one of those people is I will give people the benefit of the doubt until I see data otherwise. But like I said, I'm not recommending, you know what I mean? Like for the most part, if people are saying, hey, I'm gonna get a new system, with 15 days to go, I'd be like, wait, 15 days, let's put a 7,000 series, a 9,000 series in or something like that. Yeah. So there's a lot still, yeah. I just don't know why companies think they can. Like that's just such a big risk. And the odds are, especially with so many consumers, right? Like sweeping it under the rug just seems like a bad call. But that's not to say that it didn't happen and that we're not gonna be here in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or next build and be like, what the heck? You know what I mean? Demo, that's always the problem. Dude, the moment that you buy something, it's already kind of out of date. If you can, I don't know, if you can wait until the 9700X comes out, but then, you know, we don't even know how the 9700X 3D or 9800X 3D is gonna be. We don't have any of that information. Yeah. Oh, I agree, Araxnus. 100-fold. I 100-fold agree that you're absolutely right. And the 7800X 3D is a great processor. So I would not get upset about having a 7800X 3D. These are actually really nice cables. Okay, I'm just trying to find the cables I need. I think this is this like a dual split? Well, like here's the thing, right? Like this is the thing that I think is super interesting. I actually do, and I do know, I don't think Intel knew, like the fact that it was happening to 13th gen, I don't think it was widespread enough that Intel actually knew that there was a 13th gen problem. You know, at the scale that we're basically talking about now. And that's the part that's crazy, right? Is like really when we think about this, guys, this popped up in like February, right? And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, and then even 14.7 and 14.7. I mean, what you think about it, right? Like 14.7 is even pushed and has 2 additional E-cores. So maybe it is a voltage thing. I just don't know. And I'm not an expert, right? And we here haven't had issues. Now, understand one of the things that was super interesting is somebody said, well, what about on your render? All our editors use AMD actually, so which is pretty funny. Well, Raxus, think about it though. 12th gen was like think of 12th gen as like the template, and then 13th and 14th gen, they were just basically pushing the voltages. And the other thing too is like, we're also not seeing this in mobile, which is very voltage reduced, right? So maybe, right, just maybe it literally is having something to do with that and causing degradation. And so that was Zerf Gamer. That was the part that I did here is that apparently that Intel's refusing RMAs, which I've heard people say that. So, which is pretty, I mean, like if that's true. But again, like we don't have anything from them, right? We don't have anything from them. And that's the part that's weird. And they need to say something. I mean, they have a lot of customers who are like out there defending them. And yeah. Yeah, and Zerv, you're the one who was saying that you can. So Zerv, what do you do? I'm just out of curiosity. So you help with builds or? I'm not ignoring you. I'm just going and putting these cables away. I have an IT. Oh, so yeah, you're. So the thing is like, how bad is it from your perspective? Are you seeing, like, is it like, are you getting calls daily? Because when I like, so the other questions that I asked was specifically to the call centers who work on the PCs for gaming PCs, and we're talking about like your Origins, your iBuyPowers and stuff like that, and they're not. So that was the part that was interesting. So Juberal, let's talk about that, because I have a tendency to agree with you, but the problem is that small companies, I believe that if a large company, let's say for instance like an NVIDIA, was creating a relationship with somebody like Zotac or whatever it was, like when we signed on a new publishing, like when we, Microsoft, would sign up a new publishing partner, a new studio or whatever it was, our global security team and all that sort of stuff would go in and make sure that they were GDPR compliant, that they finished they had the same compliance as we needed to basically, there was a huge amount of work you had to do to actually officially work on a product for Microsoft. And so it feels like the same, I expected the same thing was true, that these companies aren't being educated about the fact that their stuff is in a place that's completely unsafe, right? I missed his response. Sorry, if you did say something, I missed it. Sorry, because I was diatribing, so I apologize. But if you want to repeat that about what you like in terms of the number, that would be awesome. This is that, and that's our 16 pin, which I don't need. 35%, which is quite historic. 35% of your IT customers are seeing issues. That's really high. But even then, I mean, like, again, yeah, okay. The part is that even at 35%, it doesn't, I mean, this feels like Boeing level, you know, as weird as this sounds, this seems like Boeing level cover up. And I don't even know how you could do that. Especially with the, like, Boeing level, it's like they're, you know, and the thing I'm joking about is the fact that like all of the whistleblowers are dead now. But like for that kind of failure rate to be able to keep that out of like consumer news or whatever, like mainstream news, seems like really crazy. You know what I mean? No, AMD contact frames are like they're a waste. That's the part, don't you agree, Zerv? Isn't that strange? I mean, that was the thing, right? Like, Spring, go look up Boeing and then like whistleblowers. Dude, 3 of 3 are dead. Crazy. Like, that's weird. Honestly, Jube, I just don't think they know. I think it's literally, it's an education problem. Yeah, I think, okay. Hey, Devoted Phantom, thank you for the sub. So no, I am not saying anything. I'm not doing anything to say that I am trying to stay in Intel's good graces. Intel also is very well aware that I will say what, like, dude, watch Tech Challenge. We will say what is on our mind, whether it's good for them or bad for them. I have no issue with saying the right thing. The point I'm trying to make is that in the little bit of stuff that we have done the dig, and dude, we are not like spending a ton of time on this, but when we saw the post, we were like, oh man, I'm gonna go ask some questions because I know these people. I worked with them. I was there. I worked with these people for 20 years. Let me ask them. And they were like, yeah, that's really weird. I don't know why they're using those CPUs. Those generate a lot of heat. That's terrible for server rooms. I mean, honestly, you can get the same single-threaded performance off of a non-K SKU. When we run Intel, we use 14 nines or 13 nines or 12 nines, not non-Ks, which don't have this issue. And so that's the same question that I kind of have for you, Zev, is that, yeah, which sucks, Zerv, that's not okay. That is not okay at all. Zerv, the other thing too is that, like, for your IT customers, why are they using K SKUs? I mean, that was a genuine question that came up when people were sitting there. Like, most businesses, and unless they're game developers, and even unless they're game developers, and it's funny because we talked to Halo IT and Philinix, or they use non-Ks because they don't generate heat. No, I don't. Okay, so it's content creators and studios. Okay. Yeah, which in that case it would make sense. Okay, I was curious. I mean, like, that makes 100% sense. So, sometimes it's just like, it doesn't. But it's interesting. Dude, it's not cool what's going on right now, and I keep thinking I'm gonna wake up one day and there's gonna be an answer, and there just hasn't been yet. I gotta peel this. I'm into this conversation. But no, it is nothing about, I just want to be super clear, Zev, no, it has nothing to do with about being in the good graces or anything like that. I am a shield for everybody, which means I'm a shield for nobody, if that makes sense. Literally, I've had the same day where I've been on AMD's Twitter and Intel's Twitter and NVIDIA's Twitter all on the same day. So I shield for everyone. Because I like tech. But I also like the people I do. You shiller, you. Yeah. Oh yeah, here's the deal. Let me say this. And I actually had this conversation with AMD. Because they were like, you know, I mean, and Ray, and we're good friends. So I just remember saying, I was like, the worst thing that could happen is that, I said, worst thing is this if this was true and they swept it under the rug. Because no competition in the CPU market is not good for anybody. Just like I don't want Radeon to fail. No Radeon versus NVIDIA. I mean, guys, that's not a good place. We want that stuff, yeah. We definitely need competition in all of these things. And so that's the part that's like, I would hate if this ended up being as bad as, like, if this is being as bad as it potentially is being sensationalized to do. Because I think in that case, like, just having a clear winner would be terrible. I think what we need is the competition. I mean, look at what Intel got out of AMD and what they did with the Ryzen. Like, look how much better they did. Well, to the point where they probably may have done something stupid. The point I'm trying to make is it pushed them, and competition does that. I'm just afraid that if it goes to a clear winner, nobody's winning in that case, right? Except for the people who are just huge fans of it because they're like, yay, my team was the best team. And it's like, dude, nobody was happy when the Yankees won like 7 years in a row. You know what I mean? That's the point I'm trying to make. We want competition. Competition is good. Mad Admiral, it depends on how bad it is, though. I would hope not, but it depends. I mean, the failure rates that he's talking about, 35%. The failure rates that he's talking about, the failure rates that they were saying, 100%, 50%. Those are big, you know? And that's a lot of customer trust that would be eroded. A lot. Oh, and Zerv, I think that's absolutely fair. Luckily, like for us, like for me specifically, it's just like, it's really coming down to, it's like, you know, most of our systems at this point in time, and you'll probably see that pretty quick, is like, especially with the new ones coming out, we'll be building a whole lot of AMD systems. And unless it's like a mod workshop or something like that, and you know, Intel's aware of this, right? Like the platform is on its last legs. Arrow Lake is supposed to be, you know, sometime this year. So, you know, it just doesn't make sense for us to do anything else yet. What's the 7? Yeah, the 4. Okay, so to be clear, there have been complaints about the 700K as well. but it's far less than on the 9 and the, it's far less than on the higher end 9 and the KS and stuff like that anyway. It's kind of like what Linus said. I know, Sice1. Thank you very much for the sub. It's kind of like what Linus said. He was like, go buy the Intel Arc because we want Intel Arc to succeed. And at the same thing, I really do hope that it's not as bad. But, you know, there's a lot of smoke. A lot of smoke. You know what I mean? So David, Billy, you have to be on Twitch. And right now we haven't unlocked any giveaways yet, but we're getting close. Okay, guys, I actually hooked up all the cables. I actually was doing stuff, not just diatribing this time. I promise. And the problem that sucks is that once it does arrive, then you're kind of in like the worst state, right? Because then it's just, it can get worse over time, or it looks like it gets worse over time the entire time. Okay, PSU powers in. Now we just need to hook all this stuff up. If you're running Intel stock settings, it seems like that is your best circumstance to keep the issue from arising, but it's not guaranteed on, well, from what I understand, it's not guaranteed on the 14900, but I'm not sure. We don't know, right? We just don't know. And hopefully we're gonna have something soon. I mean, like, basically, Steve ended his video with he thinks he knows something and that he's got to go test it. And he doesn't want Intel to know what he knows. So we'll find out. Dude, is this... Oh, that's no wonder. I'm like dumb. I want these. Use the right cable, Robey. Okay, so Falcon says, and this is Falcon Northwest, guys, these are, like, obviously these guys sell systems for, so Falcon Northwest, who just jumped into my YouTube, said, hey, please tell everyone with i9, 14th and 13th gen to please update to the latest BIOS. Okay, so, yeah, that's like, you know what, it's funny, your question is timely, because I just got a Mac to see what gaming and to understand the ecosystem more. And that's more specifically just because with Halo Strix and with Meteor Lake and Lunar Lake, it's a very interesting spot. Gaming on Mac is pretty bad. And the thing is that's so bad about it is like, unlike PC where you're like, hey, I can game on a system like a MacBook. I can game like here, guys. We gamed on a system. We played Assassin's Creed Mirage on a $599 laptop with an OLED, right, at 30 frames per second. On a MacBook Air, dude, you can't. You literally, like, when I asked the Mac store guy like what I need to game on, he's like, dude, you just need to buy a M4 Max. And even then, like, it's pretty rough, right? But I think what Apple is doing is super interesting, right? And the thing is with like Lies of P, Resident Evil, but understand that like they're much more in line with, Lunar Lake and their integrated Arc Xe2 GPU, or Halo Strix with their Radeon 3.5 integrated iGPU, right? It's not, you can't think of it like a discrete GPU. That's not how it is. but it's still very interesting. It is, so Bear, I would say that's actually not entirely true. Understand the iGPU, like even with the amount of RAM, the iGPU is not, like, we're not talking about 4090, like it's like the equivalent of like a 4070 mobile, right? It's the M4 Max is not a 4090 or 4080, right? So that's not to say that you are right? I mean, but the other thing too is like in terms of, it's still not, you know, it's on par with what you'd get with Lunar Lake or Halo Strix, yeah. But yes, you're not entirely wrong. I'm just saying that's nuanced. Does that make sense? Yes, WoW is playable. Let's see what else. Diablo 3 is playable. I'm playing. What's it called? Riven is playable. There's actually quite a few games that are actually playable, and I have played on my Mac. And I'm doing it as an experiment. Sorry, M3 Pro. My bad. I know the M4 is the only on iPad right now. My bad. It was a misquote. M3 Max is what I have. I have the 16-inch M3 Max MacBook Pro right now. He was gaming on the Snapdragon, which we have the Surface version of this right now, that we've been playing with. And that's where, like, and we kind of came to the same conclusion he did, right? Where the interesting thing is if Snapdragon never adds like a discrete GPU, but right now it's kind of in a weird spot too. I want a Mac. I want a big Mac. Look at you playing on words. You guys get to see all my toys the moment I can talk about them, I promise. I try very hard not to hide, to talk to you guys, hide things when I can. But yeah, my Mac buying experience was terrible. But apparently Damien's was better. Okay guys, last cable going in. There we go. That was pretty easy. Okay, all of our stuff should be good. I'm glad you did, Philinix. Well, I'd love those worlds to blur, VTN. I'd love those worlds to blur. And with things like the ROG Zephyrus G16 and the G16 and even the MSI Stealth, like you're talking about gaming laptops, like the Zephyrus gets 8 hours of battery life, right? 2 hours of gaming, right? And that's something that just wasn't a thing before, right? And that's what made us go out and get a Mac, because I was like, well, what does Mac have? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of comparison, and you even see this directly from AMD and from Intel in terms of comparing themselves against the M3, dang it, the M3 Max and the M3 Pro and just the M3. I mean, when I was at the AMD Tech Day, it came up the most, right? Yeah, Araxis, I think you're right. But apparently when Damien went there, because I asked I worked with two different ones, and apparently when Damien went there, it was better for him. Okay, guys, that's it. Sorry, you guys saw none of that because I was distracted with the conversation. Good conversation. But there you go. All hooked up. Power is in. Gonna make sure that's straight. I like the Ultra that I'm wearing now. And the one thing I will say, man, like being able to get your text messages like very easily on your laptop is pretty rad. I will say that. That was very cool. Okay, guys, we actually did it. It's actually built. Let's do this over here. Grab a drink. Let's go. It just doesn't work. I mean, the thing that that people did say, and I didn't believe it until I actually used a MacBook, and I've been using one now for going on 2 weeks consistently. Like it's replaced my Falcon, which was my Falcon DRX is the one that I used before that. So, but it's just how it just works, right? Like the ecosystem really just works, which is actually pretty crazy. So that's been the thing that's actually been the most interesting to me is how all of the integration just works together. Somebody said, "What's the most expensive build I've ever done?" $33,000. That was the most expensive. It was a special broadcasting system, and it had like some ungodly amount of storage on it. You can actually watch that strip. I don't know why it's called the Apple Watch and not the iWatch. Ugh. Okay, let's get this all put together now. We're gonna re-get it all set up. I'd be curious if actually Recall actually ever ships. I just don't think it will. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like that got the kibosh pretty quick. Yeah, it was an expensive system. It was definitely very expensive. Okay, is this? Okay, it's staying off. Good. Hey. Yeah, I agree, Zerf. Yes. I just like what I was like, as somebody who worked I worked in gaming, so to be clear, like, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody said that, I was like, dude, somebody had to be like, that is a really dumb idea. We did a dad joke earlier, but we have to. You can use them for points, my man, which is funny to say it that way, my man. Oh, that's why. Look at that, Philinix, dropping the knowledge. There we go. Sealed up. Next up, the top. Okay, guys, all we're gonna do is we're gonna run through our sponsor real quick, and then we'll turn this on. There's Blondie dying to dad joke. There it is, guys. Dad joke time.
Now, another Robeytech dad joke phone out.
Okay, here we go. Why do mushrooms get invited to all the parties? Why do mushrooms get invited to all the parties? Because they are such fungus. They're such fungus. And I have to agree with Zerv Gamer. I find that the Genius Bar, and like that was the thing that drove me, that was the thing that actually surprised me the most when I was buying my MacBook, is that because they're fun guys. Okay, well it said fungus on this. Oh, maybe it said fungi. You might be right, because it's GUI. Yeah, you're right. It's because they're such fun guys. That's right, you're right. Sorry, I messed it up. I screwed up the dad joke. Dang it, that means you have to get another one. Another dad joke when you mess it up. Why was the broom late to class? Why was the broom late to class? It overswept. It overswept. It overswept. Yeah, that did make it a way better dad joke, didn't it? It overswept. That one I read right. Zerv Gamer is right though. on, like, when I talked to the Genius Bar guy, because, like, I was there and I was there past closing because I was very confused which Mac I wanted to buy, because I was really clear. It's like, I want something that can game. I want something that can actually game and game well. But then I also, I might do some editing on it. I might do, like, it's really just integration productivity. What is the Mac I need, right? And then they are like, oh, well, we don't really know. Like, they had some questions, because, like, he gave me a survey. I took the survey and I was like, gaming's not even on this. And they're like, oh. So they're like, oh, well, let me go get your Genius. So they went and got a Genius, Apple Genius dude. And all he did is he's like, look at the memory throughput. That's why you need this. You just look at this memory throughput. And I was like, what does that mean for the experience? Does that mean that my gaming is going to be better? I was like, how does that answer my question? And he just couldn't answer it. And that was the problem. It's like, I got done and I was like, look, man, I just needed to know from an experience standpoint what kind of experience I would get on the M3 Pro versus the M3 Max. And it was just like, he literally was just like, it's just going to be better. And I'm like, better how? And he was, to be clear, they were very polite. They were very nice. Nobody was being snippy. They ended up staying late to help me try and best. I ended up buying the M3 Pro, went back, went on the internet, was still having issues trying to figure out the answer to my question, and then finally went back and it was one thing that somebody said is like, if you're gonna game, you just need to buy the best one. So then I was like, well, then I'm just gonna go back and Alaska Gwenda versus the Max, yeah. And that's just been like, that was the whole thing, yeah. And believe it or not, the bad thing is, who's better at buying Macs? If you really want to, go to bestbuy.com. Look at the MacBook Air. It literally tells you in little boxes, like, here's what's going to be good, better, best. And as you switch through them, I was like, why doesn't the Apple Store have that? So yeah, it was so funny and so interesting to me. And so it's just like, how does Best Buy have a better Apple purchasing experience than the Apple Store? You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, I don't think they weren't trying to upsell me, because they don't get commissions or anything like that. They don't care if you buy anything. You know what I mean? So it was just like, I don't think it was that either. Okay, so let's count our zip ties, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, the average current, yeah. Okay, here we go, guys. Zip tie count. Will it be odd or even is the question. Okay, so I feel like this one actually ended up going pretty well. I know, you're not wrong, Zerv. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 15. So it was odd. It was odd. And Hyoko Mayasha, thank you very much for the tier 1 sub, dude. Odd, there it is, guys. Odd it is. Okay, let's look at our sponsor real quick. And then we'll turn this on, and we'll do what we can. We'll just test thermals. It's probably what we're gonna be able to have time to test. We'll make sure the lighting is all good. But this build actually took longer than expected. But yeah. I'm rich, nice, I like that. Gaia, we're like, I think we will. I mean, again, this is all stuff like there actually is a pretty good place that's showing gameplay. I forgot the name of it. I'll put the video link in, but he was like he actually did a really good job of showing gaming on a bunch of different systems, which was actually pretty cool. Philinix, they go into the recycle, because everything that we have for this is recycle, yeah. But thank you for trying to make sure we're eco-friendly. Okay, guys, one more. We're at 213 at 250. 213 at 250. 213 to 250 is all we're very close on getting our likes. Yes, Mac Silicon, yeah, Mac Silicon or Apple, what is it called? Apple Silicon is ARM-based, yes. That's why we did it, because Snapdragon's ARM-based, right? Windows now runs on ARM. I wonder if there's a world in which we'll be able to sideload again. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. This is, you can thank Origin PC for doing that. I also have you should see my Falcon one. That one actually started a whole revolution for Falcon Northwest in terms of their circuit design, right? Right, Kel? Don't road on the phone, Zerv Gamer. You load on the phone, but don't road on the phone, okay? That'll scratch up the glass. Dad joke, nailed it. There we go. Oh, man. Okay. So you get finished building a system like this, and you're like, hey, wow, this has got like room at the top of it above the, that's interesting. They don't put the way the thing is, sorry, got distracted. Whoa. Oh, I forgot to, hold on. I forgot to actually plug in the HDMI. I was like, wait. I don't want to bend over. Ugh. That sounds bad. Just, there's been like 2 leg days, and my legs are just really sore. Orange Theory was like on a move between Orange Everest and everything else, so it's just like my legs are extra sore this week. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kelp. I appreciate it. Okay, so we get finished building a PC, and you're like, hey, Robey, I want to go ahead and put a copy of Windows on this, so do I pay $150, $200? No, you can head over to VIP/CDKdeals.com. You can pick up a copy of Windows. These are OEM keys, by the way. So in other words, they only work once for $23.65. If you want to pick up Windows 11 Pro, it's $32.45, or Windows 11 Home for $30. Well, let's go ahead and check out Windows 11 Home, because you just want to torture yourself. So you go over here, and then you just hit Buy Now. And then if you use code RBCK at checkout and hit Apply, the drop from $30 to $21, saving you quite a bit of money. Now, you might be asking, Robey, are these legit keys? Yes, we actually did verify these, that they do have the purchase orders for them. We did show them to Microsoft. So as far as we know, they are not gray market keys. And we did, at the time I was working for Microsoft when I started getting sponsors by them. That may have changed, but the point is, they do have great customer service. If you don't change anything but the motherboard, you shouldn't have an issue in terms of that. They are one-time use. So you'd have to buy them like 3, 4, 5 times to be able to actually have them basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, before you'd actually spend the same amount that you're basically using on any other Windows, on a normal Windows key. Also, they have great customer service, and if you have questions, we've had thousands and thousands of people here within Robeytech who've actually done that. Justin Jam, thank you for the Prime sub, by the way, at that. Last thing, too, is you might also be saying, hey, well, Robey, what if can I pick up a copy of Office? Well, yes, you can. If you want to pick up Office and you don't want to pay for Office 365, you can pick up copies of Office 2021, Office 2019, and Office 2016. Obviously, they're not going to get updated as much as Office 365, but at the same time, you're not having to pay for auto renew or anything like that. They're one-time use and they're yours forever. And they even have combo deals and stuff like that. Same thing, RBCK at checkout saves you money depending on which one you want to do. And then you're good to go. Anyway, VIP-CDKdeals.com. Check them out. And thank you so much to them for sponsoring today's video. The last thing I want to tell you about, though, which has nothing to do with sponsorships except for my own stuff, is Robeytech.com. So head on over to Robeytech.com. Now you might say, hey, Robey, I can't support you with doing a sub or whatever it was. But the cool thing that you can do if you do want to support us is you can go to Robeytech.com. Here's all affiliate links. So if you're buying something at Amazon, just click on that link beforehand. It doesn't cost you any additional money, and we get a nice little kickback on anything that you are purchased here. Diapers, Depends for those of you who use Depends, blush, shoes, whatever. You just get it. We get a nice little kickback, and it does help us financially. The other thing too is you can also do that at Target, Origin, Corsair, Newegg, any of those locations, Best Buy. All you got to do is click on that link first, and it'll just lead you there. So just bookmark Robeytech.com and then go from there. The other thing too is if you're curious, you're like, hey, Robey, I just was really enjoying builds that you've done. All of our builds are all located at Robeytech.com/builds. You can see any one of these. Here's the Lian Lee build. But let's see here and let's look at the Gambius build that we just built the other day. You can see all the parts, as well as a link to the actual video itself. So if you're ever curious, like, oh, Robey, I want to put a build in the Gambius Atlas M1. Great place to start. And then, of course, we build in almost every single case, very close to when it releases. Like, for instance, the Fractal Mood, the NZXT H7. So it's a great place to go and get an idea of what builds might be ideal, and then have step-by-steps on how to build the PCs as you go through them. Last thing for today is our deals. So let's see what deals Tom has found for us today. The LG 144 Hz, and by the way, guys, a lot of these are going to be Prime deals because Prime Day is still happening. LG 27-inch, 144 Hz Nano IPS gaming monitor. This is a G-Sync that's 4K. It's got 2 HDMI parts, USB 1 millisecond response time. Right now on sale, part of Fantastech for $409.99, and then you can use that promo code. This laptop surprised the crap out of me. So if you guys want to go watch our Amazon live stream that actually happened yesterday. You can only watch it on Twitch, or you can watch it on Amazon Live. You can just look on my social to a link to it. This is the Acer SwiftGo Intel Evo Thin and Light laptop. It's a 14-inch OLED with 2880 by 1800. It's got a 90 Hz display. It's using a Core Ultra 5 processor with the Intel Arc integrated GPU. It's got 16 gigs of LPDDR5X and a 512 gig SSD. It's also got 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. And honestly, it was running Assassin's Creed Mirage at 30 frames per second on low visual settings. We showed it running Dave the Diver at 60 frames per second. It's got a great soundscape, and it's on sale right now for $599.99, and it weighs less than 3 pounds. And so as a media consumption device, as a gaming on the go device, it is actually a very impressive piece of hardware, and it's on sale for a ridiculous price. It's $300 off right now. ASRock Phantom Gaming Radeon RX 7900 XT. These things continue to just be cheaper and cheaper. So if you're not into ray tracing, you just want that raw rasterization for playing like your FPSs, stuff like that, $649.99 right now over at Newegg. Asus TUF Gaming A16. This is your more traditional gaming laptop. It's using a Ryzen 7 773 5HS. Sorry, their names are, they're hard. 16 gigs of DDR5. It's got a Radeon RX 7700S. It's got a 512 gig SSD, but you can basically upgrade that very, very easily. These are both the RAM and the NVMe driver upgradable on this laptop. $420 off, making it $679.99 over at Best Buy. So again, big, bulkier. You're not going to get that battery life, but this is a great gaming laptop. WD Black SN850X 4TB Gen 4 NVMe drive, $246.99. That is a great price for that NVMe. And then the ROG Ally 7. We are literally, 6 days away from the Ally X. 120 hertz. It's currently $100 off, making it $549.99, and that's available. So anyway, great. I mean, all of these deals are awesome. I'm probably less excited about the monitor, but that laptop, those 2 laptops are great. And the other thing. So anyway, everybody say good job, Tom. Everybody say good job, Tom. I'm just trying to see 225 with 250, but there it is, guys. Good job, Tom. Yeah, it's funny because a lot of times why we used to recommend Pro, you don't even need anymore because you just want to, you can still set up an offline account when you use Windows Home. It's hard no matter what you do. Do you really need Pro? Not really. So, yeah. But good job, Tom, on finding those. These are great deals, guys. And you can find those over at robeytech.com/deals if you want to get links to all that stuff as well. But, I mean, Prime helped him. These are good. This is a good time to buy hardware. This and like Black Friday. Okay. There we go. It's time to see how this build does. Get it hooked up, run some thermals, make sure it's all white and lit up like a boss. Okay, plugging that in. Plug it in, plug it in. It came out, dude, this build came out great. Like, it is very dark. There, hopefully that will give you like a little bit of a better view. And then that's why I want a little bit of light so you can show in there. Same code for everything, yes. RBCK for everything. Head over to, you guys, we're at the last little bit of all the likes we need so we can give away that $25 new gift card. Okay. Okay, there's that. Okay, so we got all that in. Let's grab my keyboard and my mouse. See how this bad boy performs. There we go. Static Green, we just did an AMD build, literally the Gambius, which was like just last week. So yes, we have done we did an AMD build just the other day. Ooh, Pig Radio got a sub out of that one. This keyboard is I just forgot the name of it. It's the Cooler Master, and you know, it's funny because Kevin ended up buying one of these because he liked it so much. The GKK W1, I think is what it's called. I really love this keyboard. And then we have the matching mouse. Okay, I think I've got everything. Let's turn that on. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Very quiet. Not a whole lot of lighting up, right? Like that's kind of gonna be it. We're gonna see some white light from the iCue, and then outside of that, there's not gonna be a whole lot of other stuff to go. Give us a little bit of side, but it's gonna be pretty dark in terms of the overall thing from there. Just waiting for the build to post. I did plug it in, right? Oh, there it is. It is posted, by the way, guys. There's the post. There is our PC, and it is posted. So we are good. There's our 2 drives. Just gonna hit F1. Oh yeah, it's very dark. Very, very stealthy. Okay, so XMP is already enabled. We're just gonna make sure that our settings are set for. So Intel default settings. Oh, we're on Intel default settings. And then we're gonna do performance preferences. We're gonna set this back down to performance. Okay. And then we have Intel default for this, which is what we want. So we're good there. And then we're just setting the settings to performance, not to extreme. Okay, so here we have F10. And there we go. Just waiting for it to reload up. Just waiting, which is always going to take some time. And then we'll get it all lit up the way it needs to. Okay, it's coming back up, guys. Okay, and we are now officially in the game. I mean, officially in the system. So we're gonna get everything ready for performance testing. I'm just gonna find my cable that I put right here. Good, awesome. Let's get it all white and then we'll get it all lit up the way it needs to be. Okay, display settings. We go to duplicate, keep, and then we're going to change it to 2560 by 1440. Go away. Oops, that was the wrong one. I was too fast with my typing. Keep changes. 2560 by 1440. There we go. Keep changes. Go back to this real quick. Now it's all whacked out. Son of a biscuit ear. Okay. Okay. And then I'll close this. Okay, so now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the Velocity X, that's white. All I'm gonna do is change iCue link. It's all weird. So I'm just gonna change this to lighting. Lighting effects, we're gonna change this to a static color. Static color, and we just want it to be white. Cool, there we go. And that's all we want. And then we got it, the only thing we gotta change now is the lighting. So we're just gonna go in here and go to cooling though. And right now we're gonna put it up to extreme on this. And then these can go extreme as well, just because we want to see what the best cooling is for this. Okay, so all of our stuff is set to extreme. And then cooling is all set correctly, and we're good to go. Okay, cool. So there's that. Now we just need to open up Armory Crate. Just change the coloring here. There we go on the side there. So everything there is good. Let's just make sure this is, we just got to update this stuff. It looks really good. Like I like it a lot. We're just updating our graphics now, and then we'll put the front cover on and get it ready for its next step in this process. Okay, while it's updating, go to side here. There we go. A little bit of, well, once we get the white going, okay, there we go. Back inside. Okay, we're gonna go to here, go to RFX, and we're just gonna change it static. gonna make it white. You could turn it off, and if he wants us to, we will. We'll just make it white for now. And then now, when you look at your side, you are good to go. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do our PO real quick, and then we'll test we'll reboot it, and then we'll, no, it's not, no, sorry, Apocalypse, on the monitor it doesn't work. The code for it doesn't use RBCK on the Newegg. The code for the Newegg is actually on the deal site. And it should auto-apply. Sorry, that only works at VIP/CDK deals, that code. But make sure that when you're going to Newegg, if you bought it from the deals site, then you're going to be fine. You are helping us. All right, there we go. Sorry, Apocalypse. Serve, it's a little overblown. You know, when you watch our reviews of it, it's not our favorite, just because of how much system resource it does. The one thing it does do is it does a good job of making it easy for people to do things like get driver updates and things like that, which I do appreciate. And it's got a bunch of additional features, but the overhead on it is just not my favorite. So that's kind of our thought. Yeah, so that's kind of where that's kind of where I'm at, right? Like, it's like, you know, it's like I can understand why it's there. I just wish they could, like, it's almost like what Corsair did. Why is this doing this? It's like, in this really weird, I've never seen the monitor, 2560. I'm gonna see if I can go here and then I'll go back down to, okay, now let's go to 2560 by 1440. There we go. Okay, it's back. Okay, cool. Now, we should be good here. Let's go ahead and check out our performance. All right, so we're gonna run CPU ID. Oh. Apparently there's a new version. Well, we'll download the new version. Hopefully, I wonder if this, I'm hoping this one has the, I'm hoping this one actually has the, does it do Snapdragon? Oh, it's got all the 97, all the 9 AI, oh, look at this, all the Ryzen AI stuff, but still no Snapdragon. It's getting close time, guys. It's almost time to install. It's almost time to install. It's almost time to start playing with some AMD stuff. Okay, there we go. Let's make sure everything else is closed. Oh, we got a new driver too. Wow. Just gonna get this done real quick. I thought we were ready. Everything else is shut off the way it should be. Okay, install this. Man, I love the new app. It's so much nicer. You are right about the iCue stuff. Is it out yet? Is Wukong out yet? Fix the time? Okay, sorry. I like how that was like your thing. You're like, fix the time. There we go. Is that better? Yeah, it's not out yet. That's what I thought. I wish I could play Yukon. If you're not a 4K monitor, won't there be a GPU bottleneck of some sort? No. It's just the GPU and the CPU work more hand in hand. There could potentially be a bottleneck, but not between these two. Well, that's not entirely true, but not really. At 1440p, not really. Okay, let's restart now, and then we'll finally be ready. I promise. And then we can actually do the thermal testing. Yeah, I just don't want to log in, Zerv. That's what I want to go away. How are we doing likes on YouTube? We got to be close now, guys. I'm doing good. 236, guys. We're so close. All we need is like some number that I'm not going to be able to do. 14 more. So if you can head on over to youtube.com, let's drop a link. Head on over there. As soon as we get that 250, we'll drop that $25 new gift card, and then we'll be good to go. Did it literally? Oh, wow. It really did. It said I'm going to be different apps again. I'm going to duplicate these monitors. That was weird. Keep this. Okay, everything is good now. We got all of the right stuff. Okay, let's check this out. Let's see how it runs from a performance standpoint. Opening up hardware info monitor. So Cinebench. There we go. File advanced. We got a 10-minute benchmark going on here. Here we go. Starting our run right now. There it goes, spinning up. Pulling 260, 240, 272 watts. Look at those temps, nice and manageable. I feel like the back fan, it's not the RX fans. The RX fans seem pretty good. And then what do we end up pulling? Like how close to 35? Oh, 37, so yeah, you can definitely see that's Intel stock settings, right? Because if we were using like extreme performance or whatever it was, you'd see closer to 40. Oh, by the way, wanted to run a GPU situation to see if you've run into the same situation. You can ask me anything, Zerb. I'll let you know if I've seen it for sure. 12 more likes, guys. There it is, guys. Just running like a champ. Sitting at that beautiful. Sitting at that beautiful, right there. There it is, running like a champ, sitting at 88, 85, 87. We might get into 90, but for the most part, it's not having any problems. You're seeing that 5, 6, it's running 36, so this is gonna have no issue whatsoever keeping the temps on this low. That is true, Araxnus. And again, gaming temps wise, we're not going to see anything like that. I'll try and run a quick, I'll set up and do a quick MSI afterburner on Cyberpunk so you guys can see gaming temps. Yeah, Arrow Lake is actually really exciting. Hey, X Gamer, thank you for the rated party. I'm more interested in what Arrow Lake's going to do, right, and all that sort of stuff. So it'll be super interesting when we see that, because that's like a true change, right? Yeah, this is keeping it at 87, 88, no problem. Chasing you, we'll do what, if we get cases, if we get them, we'll build them. We do is like mostly any mainstream new case we have a tendency to build in. I don't know if Ncase has sent us one, but we haven't asked, so. But yeah, this is having no problem running this at all. Hold on one sec, my son's calling. What's up, buddy? Yeah. Yeah, you could go ahead and start it now. I'll be ready to go. Okay? Bye. And there we go, guys. No problems whatsoever. It's not having any issues in terms of the throttle, the temps or anything like that. So we're essentially good to go here. It's not even going to get to 90, and it's still pulling 250 watts, no problem whatsoever. It's just cycling like there's no issue whatsoever. Yeah, he's totally recovered in need of temperance. He's doing really well. He's now back at doing, trampoline parks and all that sort of stuff. So he's back to being a punk, as I always said. So yes, completely recovered, back to being a punk. Okay, so let's stop this real quick. Let's jump into some MSI Afterburner. Let's just make sure this is good and set up. And then we'll show you guys some Cyberpunk just to show you some gaming temps. So let's just make sure one, yep. Override group name. There we go. Ooh, one thing. Oh, stop. Oh, one thing I need to do, hold on. One thing that is running, I mean, it's still running fine, but I could have done is just changing the overall. Let me check something real quick. And it would probably help with the volume. Because I forgot, we're actually running fans off of the... Oh, no, I don't care about that. I want that. Yeah, that changed the volume quite a bit, actually. And the pump doesn't really matter, but I'm just gonna run it on silent anyway. Okay, good. Because it'll still be on a good curve. Okay, GPU usage showing on screen display, override graph name, RTX 4090. Memory usage, that's fine, so you guys can just see, because people still like to talk about that stuff. What we don't care about is memory clock on the CPU. I mean, on the GPU. I don't care about power percentage, but I do care about power. And I'm sorry, if you said something, ZevGamer, on NVIDIA, have you been able to find a way to run 4 monitors at the same time, 2 DisplayPort, 1 HDMI, when the main monitor is running at 4K HDR, 240 Hertz, G-Sync and haven't even tried that, ZervGamer. I haven't even tried. The most I've ever run is 3 monitors. All of them are 4K, but I think my main 4K monitor, I don't remember if it's 120 or 240, but I haven't tried. Sorry, I wish I could help you, but I just haven't even tried. 4 monitors. I've never had a situation where I need 4 monitors. So is that a problem though for you? I'm assuming yes, because you're asking. We're gonna throw power in this real quick. There we go. Let's throw frame rate. Oh, that's weird. I didn't know that either. I could, Zerv, if you email me at Robey1@Robeytech, I could ask Jacob at NVIDIA if you want. And see if it's listed somewhere. Okay, let me just make sure we're good. Okay, so we got all of our MSI Afterburner stuff in. Let's go ahead and load some Cyberpunk real quick and we'll just show gaming temps so you guys can see what gaming would be like. And the reason I like to do 1440p versus 4K is that a lot of times for doing 1440p, you get a better idea. It'll actually show you more in line with what worse temps might be in this case. Close this down. I did want to check this. this real quick. Okay, that looks fine. Library. Steam settings. Dude, this drives me nuts. Do not show ready to play streamable games. Nobody wants to, nobody's doing that. Okay. Hey, YouTube Gold Reach. Let's go ahead and start the giveaway. $25 new gift card, guys, up for grabs. You gotta head over to twitch.tv/Robeytech or youtube.com/Robeytech to get in on that. We're gonna do 2 minutes, exclamation point community, $25 new gift card up for grabs right now, starting right now. 2 minutes, guys. And there we go. You guys can see temps there. Oh, for a second there, just because of the way the things were running, I was like, oh, are these even running? But then I realized, yeah, they're running fine. Oh, and that reminds me, I need to run. I don't need to do this. There we go. So we're gonna do settings. Let's go to, we're just gonna run it regular, DLSS, auto resolution. We're gonna run it at 1440p. Let's go and run it at full screen though. It'll come back. Okay, so we're running it at full screen, 1440p. And then here we go. This will give you a good idea of what gaming temps are like for a game that's actually very system heavy, or system resource heavy, in terms of what our temps are going to be like. And then the system itself, it's got a nice even sound to it, so we're not even looking too loud. You can just see it right here, just on that side. Look at that. Looks good. It's got a little bit of light in there. Nothing too bad. And then here we go, jumping in. This is a 4090, so it's 120 plus frames per second at 1440p. You can see our GPU is sitting at 60 in the 50s. It's getting a lot of airflow from those fans, and then our GPU sitting at CPU sitting at 65. So we're using a Xenon 32-inch monitor from Corsair. And congratulations to Pandap1. Pandap1 was the winner of the $25 new gift card. And make sure you whisper Blondie on Twitch so we can lock out that giveaway. Okay, there you go right there. 127.33 frames per second. We saw things in the 60s in there. That gives you a great idea of how temps are on this system. So hopefully you guys learned something. We got to have a lot of fun. Guys, I really have to say, I really enjoyed the conversation today and just being able to talk about so much cool stuff. So really, really appreciate everybody who tuned in today. You guys got to see a completely smoked out, finished build from beginning to end inside of the LanCool 216. I think it came out great. Great quality overall. Super appreciate all you guys going in there. DLNA plus frame gen, you could absolutely do that. I was just trying to show it. Okay, we'll run it. We'll run it just for access. We'll do one. And I'll do DLAA plus frame gen just to show you. Because it's a 4090, let's check it out. DLAA plus frame gen, just because Araxis loves to see this stuff. Okay, so we're gonna run DLSS, we'll run DLAA, we'll turn on frame generation, hit apply. And this is like the cleanest this will ever look. So just a fun little test for you. And this will be higher on the G. You should see higher temps. We're already seeing 58, 57. The RTX 4090 is going to get a little higher here. There we go, 138 frames per second. Now understand, this is no upsampling whatsoever. This is using AI anti-aliasing, plus it's using frame generation. So you're getting this is buttery smooth, super clean, and this is what I love using a 4090. Yeah, you're right. It's been a lot of 4080 Supers. Yeah, it's butter. No, DLSS, yes, it's super sampling. So it's basically but in this case, it's not. This case, it's actually at max resolution, but it's using AI anti-aliasing. So it's making it very, very sharp. Yeah, so you're getting the best of both worlds. Very, very sharp, full res. So there's no down sampling, there's no upscaling, and it's using frame generation to just make it very smooth. So you're getting 120. Yeah, and usage is going to be less on the CPU. Yep, your GPU is definitely getting used here. I like the TL Hudger shift personally. If you like that cleaner look. Those fans are awesome. We're actually doing a video for Lian Lee right now that's showing the difference in all three Leo, but I like the Hydra Shift if you want the cleaner tubes. If not, the Galahad 2 is completely fine. Okay, guys, now we can say, now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. MIC, ROBEY, TECH. I don't know, I had no idea going in there. No, most games don't use all P cores, right? But anyway, guys, that is it for us. We are going to be back, I believe tomorrow we're going to be doing the Asus A21 build. That's going to be a build we're going to be giving away during the Asus stream that's going to be happening next week in partnership with Asus. With JJ coming here, we're going to talk about the stuff that we saw at Computex and all that sort of stuff as well. Super appreciate all of you guys. Love the conversation that happened today. Please come back. We got lots more to talk about. Thank you for hitting those goals. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye, guys.
Portions of this program are brought to you by the Zip Tie Foundation of America and Excalibur. If you'd like a written transcript of tonight's Robeytech broadcast, please contact Blondie Patgiki. She'll be happy to give you a notepad and a pen so you can start writing down everything you hear.